What's going on, motherfuckers? Welcome to the Crocs and Hot Pockets podcast. My name is Knackers, and today is Sunday, December 1st, 2019, and this is episode number 113. Tonight on the show, we have Mr. BishopGP, MiddleAgedStream, and our special guest, Conbot789. Bishop, how you doing today, dude?
I'm doing great, man. I'm excited. I love these podcasts. So I'm just very excited. I'm stoked, man. I'm doing good.
Good shit. MiddleAgedStream, buddy. I know I've seen you the past 2 days, and I'm still not sick of you. How you doing today?
Doing good. Just gotta go. It's been weird. I've been off work for like over a week, and I go back to work tomorrow. So there's that. But you know, it's all right. I'm excited to go back to work and kind of get the next sesh going. So it's all good.
How do you feel about streaming 3 evenings in a row? And this will probably be your 13th or 14th hour of streaming in 3 days.
Not bad, only because I've been off work, so I'm plenty rested, so it's not a huge deal. Now, if I had been working, that'd be a different story.
You'd be tanked. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Well, looks like we picked a good week then.
Yeah. I really wanted to server mute Jimmy there and just mock his voice and be like, "It was light work, pussy."
And Mr. Conbot789, how you doing today, bud?
I'm doing good. Chilling. Straight chilling.
Good. It's good to see you with your normal voice, no less.
Yeah, my non-deep voice. I was doing what Jimmy does with his voice changer unknowingly last time.
So we had Conbot on for the small streamer powwow with Game with Gray and Gigantic Gent. And for whatever reason, I didn't notice it at the time, but Conbot's voice was very low in pitch. And
real low.
Like really, really low. And it wasn't until like after the fact, he's like, dude, my mic was fucked up the entire show. And I had no idea. So, but funny story, because I didn't hear from Bishop until 10 minutes before the podcast, I actually reached out to Conbot and say, hey, I think I have an open slot on the show tonight. Are you available? And literally, as soon as I sent that message, Bishop hits me back and goes, yep, I'll be there.
That's just I'm like the worst with scheduling and timing and everything, but yeah, that's just I'm like, the thing that I need to work on in my life is just communicating with people better, you know, like that's like my biggest letdown. But going back to what you were saying with Conbot in his voice changer, and I think I mentioned this on the very first podcast I was ever on, but my dad he was going to do this it was like a YouTube podcast or some shit like that about within the streaming world, because that's the industry that he works in. And he hit me up and he's like, hey, like, I know that you've been streaming. Like, could I come over to your studio and could we do it there? Because they wanted a camera angle of him and stuff like that. So it would work perfectly. And I use this mixer that's called a Yamaha MG10XU. And if it's sitting on a flat surface, it overheats and then it breaks and it changes your voice to a high-pitched voice. So you can hear, like, I can hear myself in my headset, but when this error happens, you can't tell. So so he did this entire podcast acting professional with a chipmunk voice.
No.
Yes, the entire thing. He was a chipmunk voice. And then afterwards, my sister hit me up and she's like, hey, dad just sent me a link to like the podcast that he did. Like, what the fuck is wrong with his voice? So I go back and listen to it. He's like, yeah, streaming's been a great technology here. And they were taking him seriously the entire time.
No way.
So I have to find a link to that.
So what's worse, having an overly high-pitched voice when you don't want to, and overly low-pitched?
Oh, high-pitched, 100%.
Yeah,
100%.
Yeah, that's got to be way more difficult to manage.
Yeah.
Conbot, I'm gonna crop you. Somebody fill the dead air while I crop Conbot.
I am the boner chain.
Good job. Is it because I got too much room over here?
Did that help?
A little bit.
I think my brother moved my webcam. I'm not gonna lie.
What a bastard!
What do you think he was using it for? He met a girl from Hawaii.
Yeah, dude. He was video chatting with some hot locals in your area, kind of deal.
Doing some Omegle.
My guess is that my webcam kind of just barely blocks my TV up here, and he might have been like playing my Xbox and be like, "Oh, this is in the way." It's like, no,
I'm trying to fuck somebody's mom tonight. I got to get on Xbox Live.
Yeah, dude. I gotta let everybody know that I fucked your mom on Xbox.
Apparently, everybody on Xbox Live has fucked my mom.
everybody, dude. It's crazy.
Of course, during the show, if you guys would like to ask a question to be answered during the Q&A near the end of the podcast, you can use !Q followed by your question in chat, and the bot will snag that and throw it in the script for the end of the show. If we're not live and you'd like to ask a question or submit any kind of feedback at all, you can always shoot me an email at podcast@knackers.com. And lastly, if you enjoy the show and you want to support us without spending any money at all you have to do is click on that link in chat, give us a retweet, or you can leave us a review for the podcast on iTunes or whatever podcast platform you enjoy. So, of course, what I'd like to do is go around the room, introduce you to everybody here, and they'll throw out their social media where you can find them, and then we'll start talking some shit.
Yo, I'm Elliot Bishop. You can find me on Twitch at BishopGP. You can find me on the Smolder Web World of Warcraft realm as Keemstar. And you can find me on Twitter at Bishop Was Here. That's what I use mostly.
How dare you use his name on this podcast?
Yeah, I'm a little level 60 gnome mage, and I give people free water, and I see they get conflicted with the opinion of like that guy. So they always they're like, no, I don't want to take something for free. And they always give me what, like, they're like, oh, I fucking hate your YouTube videos. I'm like, dude, I don't care.
Right, just take this water, this poisonous
just
water.
Take the free water, dude.
I feel like fucking, is it Batman and Batman versus Superman? Why did you say his name? Martha! God, I've only ever seen clips of that movie, but god damn, does it look fucking terrible.
It's not bad.
I don't know.
I watched it and I don't remember it, so it's probably
I don't think it's that bad. I mean, it's not good, but it's certainly not as bad as it's been made out to be. Oh, by the way, my name's Jimmy, aka MiddleAgedStream. You can find me on Twitch and Instagram at MiddleAgedStream. MiddleAgedStream on Twitter. Not sure why I'm talking like this, but fuck it, here we are.
Dude, your mixer break? It overheat, now you're a chipmunk, dude. No. Nobody tell him. My name is Conbot789. I'm Conbot789 everywhere: Twitch, Twitter, Instagram, Xbox Live. Except I have my old username on Rainbow Six Siege, even though I rarely play that game. It's my old username, which is Beanie Boys, which is
it is not.
It is with a Z, by the way.
Wow, dude, we gotta play together. We gotta play some Siege, boys.
I am rarely in the mood to play Siege, but occasionally there's like I get like a weird, like intense craving for it, but it's rare and it only lasts like 2 or 3 days.
It's the Siege erection. I know exactly what you're talking about.
It's like a really hard boner for Siege.
Yeah, you're just like, oh god, dude, I need to play some.
And
Siege,
I mostly play to just meme it, just fuck around and do dumb shit.
Oh, Bishop's not here to be. Bishop's here to win.
Well, then don't play with me.
The barrier to entry to that game is so fucking high that I've always been deterred from playing it.
Yeah, that makes sense. It makes sense. It's like if you look at CS:GO and then you combine League of Legends with the operator choices and then let people rip holes in walls and baseboards and change the map completely depending on who's playing. It's so hard.
All sorts of things.
And I know that's the draw of it, right? Like that's why some people love the game so much. But whenever I see gameplay, I'm like, man, this looks like I could have some fun. And then I think to myself, do I really want to spend like the barrier to entry for Fortnite, which I thought used to be like sky high, is way lower than Rainbow Six Siege.
Oh, 100%. Yeah, the map, it's crazy because you need to have map knowledge and then you have to like you ultimately need to be an engineer of sorts to understand like, oh, this floor right here, you can shoot through this floor and it goes down to the bomb site 2 stories below. Like you have to have like blueprints of each map to ultimately understand how to play it the best way, because you could play from like a third story building and shoot through the floor and shoot the basement, like people in the basement. It's really dumb, but it's cool because like it'll never be solved. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah. And then as soon as they start changing those types of mechanics, people are going to be losing their fucking mind.
Oh,
that's why I just play Sledge every time, because I just can hit shit with hands. Keep it nice and simple. I'm a Sledge main. I
am also a Sledge main, or Tachanka, just light up in a corner, man. Even though it's like the absolute worst fucking character there is.
Which one's the shield guy? I hate the shield ones.
Oh, there's Blitz, and then there's Monty that extends his shield. Yeah, Blitz is the one with the flashbang on his shield. It has like a light that flashes you and blinds you.
Okay. Yeah, I don't get the shield technique. Just it seems so boring to play like that.
Yeah.
What is the way to combat when you have a motherfucker coming at you with a shield?
Shoot him in the legs.
That's all you got?
It just depends. Like if you know that people are going to keep bringing shields, like Legion is a great operator choice because then you can throw down his little Legion mines, which stick in his foot, and then it slows him down, right?
Oh shit!
And
okay.
then they have to like slowly move that, or like Ella throws these dildo-looking things, legitimately look like dildos, and they explode. And then they like if Monty's there, his shield will drop, and you can shoot him in the ankles. But in most cases, you're fucked. You're fucked.
So sad.
Just run and cry.
Just run.
Just log out. Just log out. Just bug up and just log out of the game.
You're done.
You guys know who I am. I don't feel like talking about myself. What are we drinking tonight, Bishop?
I'm actually drinking fridge sake, the finest sake I could find it in my fridge, and that's what
It's
is.
called
So it's
fridge sake.
I just realized.
Hoka Dio Oka Tokoyama. That's what it's called.
I just realized that we got some sake from the Asian mart that we went to, and I don't think Weenie and I ever opened it. It's probably still in the bottle in the kitchen.
I love sake.
I tried cold sake and I'm not a fan. I'll have to try the warm one because people say that's the shit. But
Yeah,
I didn't enjoy a cold sake.
It's like cold piss versus hot piss. You know?
Okay,
Pick
yeah,
it.
I'd rather have hot piss.
Yeah.
Oh!
Gotta have it fresh. Freshly squeezed.
Are
Freshly squeezed.
you a sake drinker, MiddleAgedStream?
I've only had it like twice.
Okay.
Really?
And it's only when I've been at a Japanese steakhouse. Because like I'm like when in Rome, man. I'm like, hey, we're gonna have some sushi and shit.
go for
Fuck
it.
it, bring me some sake.
Give me the
Let's go.
sake. Yeah.
Yeah.
Warm. Do you
But no,
just make
I've
eye
never tried
contact?
the warm. I just can't. I don't really warm. Nah, I did it cold. So
Yeah.
I'm kind of the same way with beer. When somebody's like, no, this beer is better room temperature. I'm like, fuck off and give me a Coors Light then. Like, I don't
feel
want
like
any of
rules
that.
Don't apply to beer.
There are certain types of beers that yes, the flavor is enhanced if you let it warm, but those are usually like the darker beers that have a little more
Nut.
suppleness. Like a porter or a stout, definitely bringing it down to closer to room temperature is fine, but not like you don't want to drink a sour beer or a lager or a golden ale or something like that warm. No.
No, that sour's got to be ice cold for me.
No.
Why do you have to be so immature, knackers? You go straight to nut. Like, you got to talk about nuts. Like it's got extra nuts, and I'm going to pee. It's like, what is wrong with nuts, dude? Like Jimmy's trying to give us a legit review of this beer, and we're like nut and piss inside of it.
Our,
Like, this shit's
our
hot.
porters and stouts are not nutty most of the time. More often than
I
a
mean,
pilsner or a sour.
I don't know how much.
nutty.
nut
I
is
mean,
in
there
beer,
there
dude.
can be. I mean, I don't know about most of the time, but there certainly can be. Sure.
Did you expect me to be
Some nuts
mature
in there.
about all of this, Bishop?
Yeah.
Who's mature when talking about beer?
Oh,
That's
speaking
fun.
of beer, I'm drinking. I was drinking this the other night. It's called the. I don't know if you can see it. The Spartan of Bellatone.
Mm.
It's from Five Stones Brewing. It's handcrafted with Bellatone cherries and cacao nibs.
Oh, I
Fucking
like it.
cacao. Nobody knows what cacao is, okay?
Cacao.
Like cocoa.
Check
Cocoa
cacao.
nibs.
Check a corn.
Oh.
It's just
the
spelled
fancy way of
fancy. It's
saying
just
cocoa.
spelled.
Yeah.
It's just spelled fancy. Whatever a nib is.
I thought
But-
that a nib was like a chocolate. Oh my god, chips like chocolate chips, like a nib. That isn't that a nib?
I guess.
I don't know all these fancy terms.
Like, give me my
That's
warm
why
piss
I'm
sake.
drinking a Mountain Dew.
Yeah.
Do the do.
I'm drinking a Mountain Dew and a water because
Mm.
I had my fair share of drinking last night. I was out of town in Grand Rapids
Ooh.
doing concert stuff.
Oh.
And then you were back here today already. Okay.
Yep. I slept in my car last night.
Did you? What?
Is it cold?
Yeah, I just turned on the car half the time.
No, that's how you die, bro. Are you kidding?
I was monitoring it, okay? I turned it on for half an hour, I turned it off for half an hour.
You were monitoring what? The carbon dioxide?
No, I was outside. I wasn't in like a garage or
Yeah, if he
anything.
was outside, he's fine.
Yeah. I
No,
wasn't
the-
inside the garage.
The carbon doesn't
No,
the
it-
carbon monoxide build up in the car regardless if you're indoors or outdoors?
Maybe a little bit, but it's definitely not
It's-
a thing if you're outside.
Yeah, if you're outside, you're fine, dude.
Yeah.
You're fine.
Last time
pretty sure.
I slept in my car, all the carbon dioxide, they just knocked me out right away. Super easy.
It helped me
fine.
sleep, actually.
What
I fell
is
asleep like a
melatonin?
bitch.
I just sleep in my car.
Yeah, I just use carbon monoxide.
Oh my god. Okay. No, I anytime I sleep in my car, I'm cracking windows. Anytime. If it's on, windows motherfucking getting cracked.
But it was 30 degrees out, so I couldn't do that.
And also, you don't want people coming in and snatching at your biddies.
Yeah, I was like, so what happened was I went to a concert. So my buddy was working for this band in particular that I was going to see. So like we were hanging out with them afterwards. We went to like a DJ set, and like I didn't know when I was going to end up going back to my buddy's house. So I texted him. I was like, hey, I don't know when I'm coming. Like leave the door unlocked kind of deal. But he was also having a night of his own. And so he forgot to leave it unlocked. So when I got there at like 3 a.m, I walk up and just, oh, looks like I'm sleeping in the car tonight.
Oh, shit, dude. Oh, well, you're still alive. So that's good.
I made it. It was fine. I got like 5 hours of sleep. Worth it.
Dope. I am drinking a good old Molson Canadian because of my Canadian heritage. I drank all of the good sour beers over the past 2 days playing Super Mario World with Jimmy. Those Prairie Artisan sours that I had were probably one of my top 5 sours ever, and I don't even remember what it was. And the cans are all gone, so I'm never gonna be able to find it again.
Yeah, you'll reckon. I would be able to. I bet you I could tell you what it was. I remember what the can was.
Oh, you know what? I did take a picture of it in your Discord.
Yeah. See?
Pink Guava Funk. Yeah.
Dang, that sounds good. Guava? Okay.
Thank God for the Beer and Booze channel in the MiddleAgedStream Discord.
I know. Join now.
Good plug.
All right, so the first thing I want to start with is a story that led me on a roller coaster of emotions from sadness to anger to straight hostility and then just a lack in faith. So some of you might have seen this story unfold on Twitter recently, and it's about Starbucks. So the story starts out like this is like by the end of me telling this story, y'all are going to be like, Knackers, what the fuck? But there is like a moral to the story at the end of it. So a guy, police officer, posts a picture on Twitter of his Starbucks cup, and on the label printed, it says pig for his name. And so this guy decides to take a picture of it, upload it to social media. So of course, social media goes fucking wild. This apps are like, oh my God, the police are the infrastructure of our community. And how can people disrespect other people like this? And so for the first couple hours, the internet is just up in arms. Just everybody's got pitchforks. They're ready to fuck people up. And so some time passes. And then a couple hours later, the daughter of said cop finds out that this picture is from her dad and then goes to Twitter and says, guys, by the way, my dad is a complete pig. He is a racist pig piece of shit. He is not a good father. He's not a good husband. He is literally a piece of shit. Like, damn. I want to praise the people at this Starbucks for doing what they did to him. So then for the next couple hours after that, it's just, oh shit, the guy actually sucked. This is awesome. The story's like completely turned around. And again, just for those couple hours, just a little bit more, like the story had just completely flipped around. And I checked, every time I would load Twitter throughout the day, the story changed. So I loaded it in the morning, and then I loaded it in the afternoon, and then I loaded it like in the evening. And so I loaded Twitter for the final time in the evening. And I look, and it's somebody who is quoting all of these tweets and says, by the way, Starbucks has a profanity filter when you are creating labels for people so that people can't put racist, derogatory terms for people's labels. And pig is one of the words that is not able to be inputted by a barista unless requested by the customer through the Starbucks app using a mobile device.
Well, they have to set it as their name.
Yes, you have to set that as your name. So that's the only way that it gets through. And then everybody just like, oh, fuck. Like everybody's now going back to this other side and everybody's going crazy because this guy took this picture himself, put his name as Pig for himself in the app, and then tried to turn it into this other story. And if that would have just happened, and then the secret detectives of Twitter and Reddit would have found out that you couldn't do that, that would have been like an awesome flip-flop story in itself. But then you got the daughter coming in and just adding like a whole different dynamic. Yeah, it's fucking awesome. So the moral of the story is, don't sign up for Twitter because it's a complete waste of time. But the actual moral of the story, and the reason why I wanted to tell this, is because when you see stories like this on Instagram or on Twitter and you take it for face value, there is always another side. And most of the time, the other side is from somebody who doesn't have as many Twitter followers as the one who originally posted about the story. So like, we never hear the other side. So just a reminder that whenever you see a cop on Twitter complaining that somebody called him a pig, you got to think to yourself, okay, you got to look at the label. Is the label legit? Did he print it himself in his little Starbucks coffee printer in his cruiser? Does he have a brother that works at Starbucks and he got him to print the label just to bring awareness to? Yeah, it's just a prank, bro.
It could have just been a brotherly prank. Like, haha.
Gotcha. Yeah. But I don't know. That was one of the first times in a while that I've seen a story just flip flop like back and forth. Like all these new perspectives started coming up. And the other side is like, holy hell, the thousands of people that spent their day investigating this story and like fact checking what a barista can and cannot do and what a computer system can and cannot do, as far as, and like somebody else went as far as to like find the county, the population, and the fact, because the original story was this cop bought 5 coffees for him and his unit that were all on patrol. But the town, which only had a population of 1,700 people, they're like, there's no way you have 5 dispatch officers on call, like out and about for a town of 1,700 people. Like that just does. And so it's like nonstop fact checking. It's like, oh my God, what the fuck do all of you people do all day?
Has it been on like news yet? Like, I wonder what, like, now that that's all unfolded, I wonder what, like, if there's going to be like a news story, like, I wonder what it's going to do.
Right. And I think one of the last things that I saw was that the cop was now declining to comment because he had better things to do with his time than like try and work his way through the story. It's like, okay.
And to sign up for a Starbucks app and then print a label and then take a picture.
Oh my
of it.
God.
He's got way more stuff going on.
Somebody's not busy at all. Which also kind of brings...
Town of 1,700 people. We got a lot going on, dude.
Somebody's standing outside the ice cream store. It's past closing time.
Well, as petty as all this is, and it's super petty.
Oh, yeah.
It is true. It's a lesson in just how social media can be tailored to tell only one side of a story, you know? Yeah. And so obviously it got found out, and, you know, this guy got put on blast for it or whatever. How many times does shit get out there that doesn't get found out? You know what I mean? And there's all this uproar over, you know, a bunch of bullshit. I don't know if it's because it's the holidays or whatever, but I find myself spending a lot less time on social media in these months, just because people just seem to be just bitches. I don't know, just I guess bitches, I mean that's the best way to put it. People are fucking bitches, and you know, and everybody wants to whine about something. I maybe I'm getting a little bit of social media burnout lately, because I'll pull in and you try and tailor your feed to try and avoid some of that shit, but you get one person to like something that's on something that you've got muted, and it throws everything off. And I don't know, man.
And then you unfollow them. Keep going.
You mute them.
I'm a big fan. I'm a big fan of muting. I don't like you now, but maybe later.
somebody even asked me recently. They're like, "Wow, you've been on Twitter for a while. As long as you've had your Twitch account, you don't really follow that many people." And I'm like, in my mind, I'm like, well, that's because I don't really like people.
But also sub to me.
Just a bunch of fucking motherfuckers. But the reality is, I don't see the point, and I get it. You can follow someone and they say stupid shit, you can mute them. Usually for me, I don't. It's very rare that I mute. I just unfollow.
You just go for the unfollow.
I just am like, okay, I don't need that. You know. So
but what if it's like a friend in real life? That's the weird thing, when it's like you know a person, you kind of like them in real life, but on social media they're the worst. You just like
I unfollow them.
you just go for it. Damn.
I don't care. I mean, if they can ask me, I can just say, man, you post some dumb fucking shit.
Okay.
Have you ever had
I don't. I mean, if they get upset with me for it, go right ahead. And I know I'm probably hurting myself in the social media game by not. I mean, if you're looking at it from the sense of followers and that sort of stuff. But if I see someone that's posting or liking shit that I don't want to see on my timeline, I just unfollow. It's not personal. It's just
Jimmy guys. I haven't said shit.
I don't want to see it on my timeline. You know, just don't want to see it.
Have you ever had any of you guys had someone get legitimately mad because you don't follow them on social media, or like you change your process with that?
Oh yeah.
Like I actually blocked my mom one time on Facebook because she woke me up at like 6 a.m., which is like 7 hours before I ever get up, right? But she woke me up and she's like, oh my God, something that you posted. And I was being sarcastic to one of my friends. She's like, oh my God, you have to go delete that. I was just like, do you really give a fuck that much? Like, if that's the case, like, boom, block. And she's been blocked since then. But
my entire immediate family is blocked on all social media platforms.
Most of my family.
Yeah, I'm like, and every time my mom's like, so when am I going to be able to listen to one of these podcasts? I'm like, never, Mom. Never. I'm telling, we'll be like talking, and it'll be like a fun, cordial conversation, and she'll be like, so what's your username? And I would be like, Mom, no. Stop. Like, I know that you're trying to sneak that in, and there'll be times where like she'll be like, oh, it's your brother mentioned something funny you posted on Instagram, can you show me? And then so what I'll do is I'll bring it up on Instagram, screenshot it, crop it, show her in the Photos app instead of handing over my photo and send my phone. Wow. She's like, no, why don't you show me on the app? I'm like, Mom, you're not fucking smart. I know what you're trying to do. I don't want you anywhere near my shit. Now, where's my fucking apple pie? Another half of, or another side of going over this story is there is so many times, and I love when this happens. When somebody goes up on Twitter, it's like, oh my God, I just got banned for 30 days. I can't believe this. Twitch is such a big pile of bullshit. Their staff is a bunch of SJW bitches. I can't stand any of this. I'm going to YouTube. And then somebody's like, by the way, I looked through all 1,700 of your VODs that you've streamed in the past 4 years, and you've said the N word 19,000 times. And then everyone's like, holy shit. Oh yeah, you're a piece of shit. And then they just disappear. It's like, you punk bitch. And it happens a lot where people they go on social media, they start complaining to get their community to rally up. And then some people who are a little bit fishy start doing a little bit of digging and finding some things. And it turns out, oh no, you did this and that and this and that. And you absolutely deserve to be banned.
Let's just take a minute to shout out to those people, right? Because the internet is typically full of people that want instant gratification, right? Like they're scrolling through an Instagram feed. I just want instant gratification. Oh, there's a butt, there's a nice car, there's boobies, like just filling your mind with boobies, butts, boobies, Lamborghini, boobies, right? Like that's the reality behind people. They want instant gratification. So like stories like these pop up all the time, and whether it be political or, social, political, whatever, right? People jump to the first thing that they can latch onto that they can agree with, right? That it validates their opinion. But there's a lot of times, like Jimmy was mentioning, where like or Conbot was mentioning as well, like the news will pick it up and then they'll just kind of run it, and they get like 2 days out of the coverage, and then they don't have any solution. So they're like, oh, this guy's a murderer, rapist, child killer, and blah, blah, blah. And then they never validate. They never come back on air and be like, whoa,
actually,
kind of jump to a conclusion here. That guy's not a murderer.
We'll never see a news
our fault. So they just go to the next. They go to the next thing. So like, what's cool? There's a YouTube channel called Internet Historian where he covers a lot of these type of events where this type of shit happens. Like Coney 2012, remember that? Mm-hmm. And he covers like the back end of like what the internet did to try to like vet these people out and figure out what was actually going on. And it's really cool because like you can kind of see them, like how fast they dive into the little corners of the internet and figure this stuff out. And one of them, there's this Reddit channel. I don't know what it was specifically, but there was Shia LaBeouf was doing some political thing, regardless of what his opinion is. And these guys went and found, it was basically a flag in the sky, right? They were able to find exactly where the flag was located. It was a live stream of this flag flying, right, with just sky in the background. and they found it within 24 hours, right? And they went and they took it down. It's crazy what's capable with like a few smart people that are good at like these little like specific things. Like in this particular Starbucks story, there's a barista that's like, hey, well, we can't actually put pig in as a word, right? Just little pieces of information like that are all like thrown in the pot from all these different sources. It's super cool to see the internet do that.
Band
shout out
together.
to those people that do that. You know,
Shout out to the internet sometimes.
yeah,
Well-
yeah, internet boys, we love you.
I'm 99% sure of this, but don't quote me. This is not like a news source, okay? I am pretty sure that Reddit was able to locate the Boston bombers before they were actually caught. Yeah. Like through all of the pictures from all the security cameras and going back and forth, Reddit actually was able to locate the correct Boston bombers, which is fucking insane.
Yep. There's this dude that during the Antifa, like I said, don't care about either side. Like I don't care about the opinions, but like there's this dude that took a bike lock and just hit this innocent bystander in the back of the head and cracked his head open. And he was an Antifa guy wearing a mask and shit. And within 16 hours, they were able to go through every piece of content that had like surfaced in that from that riot or that protest. And they were able to find this guy exactly who he was. So he went to sleep that night thinking, oh, I got away with, hacking the back of a guy's skull with a bike lock like a jackass. And then he woke up the next day and his phone was blowing up. And then that guy he's disappeared. He's like hiding from the police. Right.
Yes.
It's crazy. So it's like, fuck yeah, Reddit. Like, let's go. Like, who cares about
That's the real FBI.
They're the FBI, man. Gotta love them.
I have one final topic before we get into like our gaming news. And Bishop, you just brought this up, saying the word boobs, which I know is very immature of me, but sometimes when I see another man say boobs, it brings me back to an earlier time, a simpler time. And so this is probably the worst question to ask on a podcast with 4 white dudes. Okay? And I understand this, but I'm genuinely curious because this is something that has been like on my mind recently. And if there's anybody out there who would like to send me a message afterwards or an email and provide some insight or some perspective, I am inviting it. I'm not trying to stir up debate or drama. I'm just going to say how I feel. With how... I got to be so careful the way that I say this.
Large these breasts are these days. Like, what are we doing?
I feel guilty for being attracted to breasts because, yeah, okay, hear me out. There is a big conversation right now that involves the sexualization of women's body, and this is involved with Twitch and body painting and girls being restricted on what they can wear, when they're live, and those standards not really fitting the male mantra. So I'm always very careful to get into those types of conversations because I don't think that I have any valuable input. But the whole other thing is like, okay, so we have all been groomed by marketing and by our government to like boobs, right? To be attracted to just breasts, and they're awesome. But I feel weird nowadays talking about it because I'm afraid that I'm going to run into the wrong person who's to be like, you are sexualizing the women's body and you are a misogynistic piece of shit. I can't believe you're even alive. And I'm deathly afraid of having that conversation. Should I feel wrong? Because like, there's to me, it doesn't seem like my brain has been groomed. I see boobs, I get a boner. I can't help that, right? I don't know.
You're a simple guy, man.
A simple man. Am I going to reach out and grab your boob without consent? No. I'm going to quickly appreciate them from afar. Go. And then I move on with my life. And that's the end of it. Now, I know even that, like even me checking out somebody's breasts, Weenie, I love your boobs. It's just, it scares me to have this conversation. Do you guys feel the same way? Or did I get way too high 7 years ago? And has it made me forever paranoid about everything?
Thought from 7 years ago.
No.
Some high.
No.
This is the moment he's bringing out a 7-year-old thought right now. Is on this pot. He's been bottling this up until now.
I smoked way too much weed a super long time ago, and it has changed my brain forever, which is one of the main reasons I kind of stay away from marijuana for the most part. But please put my mind at ease. Boobs, dope or nope?
Boobs are great, man.
Yeah,
boobs are dope.
What you're talking about is you're not by saying that you like boobs. That's not objectifying women. Okay, that's just there's nothing wrong with saying that you like boobs. Women like boobs. Women. They can appreciate a good pair of boobs. I think we're objectifying.
Appreciate a good pair of boobs.
Yeah, I think where the objectification of women comes in if that's all that you can appreciate someone else for is for that. Like if you I think when people for example, if you go into a stream and it's a female streamer and there's people like this and it happens where they come in and all they want to do are make comments about their looks and appearance or whatever, and it's obviously they're not, whether they're being overtly sexual or not. That's not, if you're just objectifying someone for that, that's,
then they're I think
that's
anyways.
Yeah, that's just that's inappropriate. So I think as long as it just really depends on what your intention is, and if you're not objectifying a person and you just say, hey, I appreciate boobs, there's nothing wrong with that at all.
My intention is mama. For context, that's a fucking liar movie quote. Okay, that's not actually how I think.
I know. If you were to go into a stream and say, "Man, I'd like to suck on them titties," that would probably not go over well.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Not a good move.
No.
That's not
Okay. I would say that's probably not. That would go into the whole objectification thing. So you can appreciate somebody's looks without stepping over into the boundary of where you're objectifying them. And of course, everybody's got those things that they go on in their mind, and some people they have no filter because either A, they have no common sense, or B, they're fucking idiots. So it's usually it's one of the two.
The friend group.
Yeah, it's either they're lacking some type of common sense, or they're just fucking idiots. So if you exhibit great common sense and also understanding that you can appreciate, it's normal. That's just part of being human. So
yeah, there's I agree with Jimmy, but I'm going to play the devil's advocate here because as long as you're not going to as long as someone's not you're not using you could internally appreciate boobs, right? You can internally appreciate anything about anyone. If you're into hands or feet, you'd be like, oh, those are nice, but don't just be staring at them, looking at their tits, and then you're still looking at their tits, and they're just be like, oh, hey, it's nice to meet you. Let me find out more about you besides your boobs, right? You don't just need to hyper focus on the fact that they have boobs. But devil's advocate now. Women know that men like boobs, and Hooters wouldn't be a thing. And men also know that. We have been on the pawns of this scheme to steal all of our money through boobs and sexuality, and we know that it's reality. You don't go to a bar and have bartenders without their tits show. Their boobs are showing because they know that it's
power to them.
But isn't that the problem?
I'm not saying it's a bad thing. It's not a problem. It's not a bad thing. But it's the reality that men are attracted to certain features of women. It's just totally reality. And other women are also attracted to those features of women as well, right? So it's not unknown, but it's if you go to Hooters, why are you going to Hooters? Their wings fucking suck, right? You're going there.
They're okay.
They're
okay. They're okay, but you can get better things at different places, right?
It's very true, yeah.
So you're going for a certain reason, right? And it's not a negative or if you go to Hooters and start grabbing girls' boobs, you're gonna get the fucking shit kicked out of you, right? That's a problem. That's a problem.
But do you go to Hooters because it's cheap wings and it's also acceptable to sexualize the tatas? Whereas if you go somewhere else, you're like, tits!
Right. I've gone to Hooters with groups of guys before, and the guys are always trying to hit on the girls, right? The waitresses. And they play along with it 100%. 100% every single time, right? It's like a strip club. You go to a strip club for what? To see boobs, right? To see
the
boobs
buffet.
And see girls.
Yeah, the buffet.
For the food and drinks. Right? So it's you go to those things, but you also have to go understanding that those aren't things that are readily accessible to you, right?
Right.
That it's not something that you have any sort of ownership over at that point. So you can appreciate them. There's places where you can appreciate those things, but also within the right context, right? If you go to Hooters, you can appreciate butts and boobs because that's literally what they're marketing is beautiful women, right? Serving you food. But
You should come to
if you're
Hooters
not,
in
like,
Detroit.
Yeah, if you go to if you go to like a library and you're like, holy shit, let me just check out this Harry Potter book and also great breasts. Like that's a problem, right?
No, that's a pickup line out.
Hi, do you have the
By the
Prisoner
way,
of Azkaban?
Your nips are just really percolating nicely out of that
You should see
freaking
the wand
out
in
of
my
that
pants right
camisole
now.
sweater. Yes.
I'd like to Expelliarmus that blouse right off of you, lady. So I have one final point. Conbot, I wanted to give you a chance to reply before I put the final point on it.
Yeah, I think like the idea of like what Bishop was saying is like the waitresses and like that being a marketing tip. I think like if I'm trying to like you always try and think in the mindset of the ladies, which is hard for a white guy to do, right? But you get like I feel like you get a split. You get some girls who probably think, no, I don't want to like pay any attention to this. Like I have these, I'm going to pretend like they're not there. You probably have some down the middle, and then you probably get something like, well, if these get every guy to like tip me more, why not show them off kind of deal?
Right.
And that's where it's like power to them. They got them, go for it.
Their body, their choice, dude. Let them
exactly.
send it. If they don't want to show me their boobies, listen.
That's their decision.
I can tell that you have great boobs under that. Like, I'm not going to be that guy, right? But if they're, you know, it's a touchy situation.
It is touchy,
and we're not.
It's not touchy.
Opposite of them.
I'm now picturing Bishop getting up from the podcast, going up to Booby. Will you show me your boobies? So
No.
what? No. Okay, I'll go somewhere else, like Hooters. They have great wings.
That's actually a really good approximation of the Bishop podcast voice that he does. Well, howdy there, gals. Guys. Hi.
That's just him when he gets nervous.
And
that's my.
Oh, can I get your phone number, please? Oh, God.
I have not always. I absolutely remember a time where, for me, long time ago, where booby streamers were the enemy. They were the one that were taking all the viewers. They were the reason it wasn't successful. I think most of the people that are streamers start off, and only because it's the most low hanging fruit for an excuse for somebody who's trying to grow on Twitch. And
struggle.
And then you learn about the platform. You start to meet these people, and and your mindset kind of changes. I have this weird thing where I almost treat like females who are using their body for Twitch streams. I don't see a problem with it. I treat it the same way as a streamer isn't playing the type of game that I like, so I'm not going to watch. If I come across a stream where sexuality is kind of like the forefront, then I'm more likely to go like, okay, well, I'm going to go find somebody playing, The Sims, and that's honestly just kind of how I see it. I don't care what women do with their bodies or their streams or anything. You guys do whatever you want. Just know we love boobs, and we're sorry. We've been groomed by our government. Okay.
The government did it to us.
The birds.
But again, if there is anybody out there who is listening to this in the future, if you want to send me your perspective, I want to get more people's opinions on it. Like I brought this up because I really enjoy having these types of conversations, because I want to know what other people are thinking, and I think it's good to have those types of feelings out in the open, so we can have that discussion.
There's no problem with showing your body, right? Like that's not a problem. On Twitch, the thing that is a problem is overly sexualizing content, right? And I'm not just saying like someone that is attractive that's streaming. Like I'm just going to speak on behalf of all attractive people. Okay, like that has people that are attractive have been using their looks as a way to benefit themselves in all places, right? People are more likely to communicate with you if you're attractive. That's just reality. I'm not like saying I'm that attractive, but I've been told I have nice eyebrows. Okay, so I'm speaking for
you have more than nice eyebrows.
Speaking for
the eyebrow people.
Eyebrow people.
But I think that there is, and this is a whole different topic that we don't need to dive into, but there is a problem with people that are overly sexualizing their content, because the viewers that are coming onto the platform to search for that sort of thing are also like they're not people that obviously any of us want in our stream, or someone that's also a female streamer wants, like that's not objectifying themselves in that way, overly sexualizing their content. They don't want those people in their chat because they come like from a extremely sexually charged chat where someone's playing Dance Dance fucking Revolutions with a bikini on, and then they're like, oh, let me go into this other stream, and then they start sexually objectifying another woman, right? Like that is a legitimate problem that Twitch has. And
that's a good point. I actually never kind of thought about that.
Yeah, I mean, if you're streaming and just chatting, and people are coming into the chat to looking in that category for that specific thing, and then they overlap into other, like females get harassed by that constantly. Like
absolutely
all the time.
Yeah,
right? It happens a lot. So that is a legitimate problem of like gating those people out to say like, hey, you know what, the content that that you're producing is specifically sexualized, right? And you can tell, right? It's not like there's you could name, like you could go and basically make the judgment for yourself on who's doing that. And a lot of those accounts don't ultimately end up getting partnered, and they end up getting banned or this or that. But I don't see a huge problem with people using their features as a way to like, as just a part of, as long as it's not the main focus of your content.
Right.
I don't really care.
Yeah. And that's the thing. For the most part, not even for the most part, I can collectively say that none of us really give a shit about any of that. We just want to watch good content, and that's just the end of it.
It's all about the personality on Twitch at the end of the day, right?
100%.
Like,
yep.
If you're an attractive person and you're boring, I'm not going to watch you. If you're ugly as fuck but you're really cool, I'd rather watch you. That's it's like, who cares if you're good looking if you're boring as hell? That's it.
I don't watch Twitch because I want to get turned on.
Yeah.
There's better places to do that.
Yeah, there's a lot more websites that are for that.
But some people do because that's something they have access to. But I think that the average age of those types of viewers, for the most part, probably far younger than the guys in this room.
We're gonna rehearse Grease Lightning for our next podcast, so we can just start bringing in all the ladies.
Oh, okay. I like that.
Hashtag boobs are dope. We love boobs. Also, we're sorry.
Also, sorry about that.
All right. Well, thank you for entertaining that conversation. I feel a little bit better. I'll feel more better if a female reaches out and says it's okay. Yeah.
So I think it's okay to have that discussion as long as we don't identify as white men beforehand, right? Like if we just kind of like leave that up in the air, I think we're free to discuss.
I think we put that on the table a half an hour ago. There's no getting around that now.
Like the first thing that would
yeah. Especially when we start the podcast talking like this. All right, moving on to more gaming related content. I know it's already been an hour, but this is why I love the podcast. Okay, is because we can go on tangents like this. So, MiddleAgedStream, I see that you have some awesome topics that you'd like to touch on. So, fucking spew it out, bud.
Okay, so a couple of things. I'm going to start with something that's a little more low key, and then I'll go to my other one. But since we're nearing the end of 2019, I put together a little list of the best games of 2019 that I have played this year personally. Now, these are also games that came out in 2019, so don't feel like if you didn't play a game that came out before that, and that's okay too. But so I put down on this list Sekiro, which or Sekiro, I don't know how the fuck you say it, but
it depends on who you're asking, probably.
Yeah, one of the even though I didn't beat that game, I came close to beating it, but I didn't quite beat it. It's a really damn good game. And I probably pumped in like 50 hours into this damn game that I haven't beaten, but it's really good. Yeah.
That's a lot.
Yeah.
Excuse me.
Resident Evil 2, which I'm not really a big fan of like the scary games or whatever, but this is such a well done remake, and it was actually had a lot of fun playing it. And that came out in like February of this year. Most recently, of course, Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order. Fantastic game. I'm almost done with that. I may be finishing that up this week. Again, another one, The Outer Worlds. I had just started playing it, but I love it. Definitely one of the most fun games I've played this year, and definitely probably one of the most fun of like a game that I consider already in the short amount of time I've played it to be some of the most fun I've had playing video games.
You're playing that on the Xbox in 4K, right? Mm-hmm. Does it just look awesome?
It looks amazing.
Awesome.
Yeah, it really
that game kind of got released kind of under the rug. Like I saw a few people, right? Like that. I haven't seen much of it, but from what I've seen, I was like, oh, this is a great game. I immediately jumped to the conclusion that like, wait, maybe people aren't playing it because it's not a good game or it's bad. And I remember seeing in a few streams, people were doing like Omega LOL directed at. What is this Omega LOL, by the way? Like
that emo used to trigger me, by the way. I think Jimmy can do a much better job of explaining it, but I know one of the biggest issues was the combat style. I don't think is anything anybody expected, and it's either you're on board or you're not, and there's not really a middle ground.
Okay.
Yeah, maybe, I guess. Me personally, I think it's great. And most of the people that I've talked to that play that game have absolutely loved it too. And then my last two for games of 2019, Mario Maker 2, which I've been trying to convince Knackers to get because it's a damn good game. And it's a game that you can always come back to also because I mean it's got a lot of fun.
That's true.
And then finally in a free game and a game that I have sunk hours and hours into, Tetris 99. Fucking love that game, man. It's so much fun.
Game triggers me.
It's just I don't know, man. Like, and I don't know. I really, really enjoy it, and I still have not gotten first place. I played like
damn
30 something hours of Tetris 99, and the best I've been able to do is third place. I've gotten third place like I don't know, probably 10 times, but I've never had a first place finish.
It's hard.
It is very hard. Yeah.
If you're into like party type of games, there's a game called Tricky Towers, which is kind of like a remake of Tetris, but ultimately it's like a 3 or 4 person play or like a co-op game, and everyone builds a tower with the different Tetris parts, right? It's actually it's pretty fun. Casey and I played it well.
It looks wobbly.
So
weird beard games.
I bring this up, and I know we got one more podcast to go, maybe 2. But I know we're getting close to the end of 2019, so there's that. But I put it for the year, but since we're getting close to the end of the decade, I know that'd be one for a later podcast. Like, what are the best games of the decade? I didn't want to go too heavy yet, since we're not quite at the end of the decade yet. But
I do have a plan for that.
Okay, cool. I figured. So those are my favorite games I played this year. I don't really need to commentate on each and every one, but I was curious to what the best games that you guys played this year. I just wanted to know.
I have my list ready to go. If you want me to, Conbot, you look ready to go, dude. Are you ready?
I have an idea, but if you have like your list, like mine's not in list form.
Okay.
Per se.
Okay, I do have a list. If that'll give you some more time to compile said list.
Yes. I'm compiling.
Okay. So when I saw that Jimmy was going over the best games of 2019, I did my normal searches. Best PC games of 2019, best Switch games of 2019, and I went down the list. I did not find a single 2019 game on any of the lists that I found that I played. They were all just added to a list for me to play later.
Outer Worlds.
Other than Outer Worlds, however, for whatever reason, excuse me, I lied. That was the one game that was on the PC gaming list.
Gotcha, bitch!
You got me. I don't know what to do. What do I do with my hands? I have the games that I played in 2019 that were my favorites, and they are The Witcher 3, and I only got to play 2019? It was like the very, very beginning of 2019. I started it in 2018. Completed it.
That was a long time ago.
Doesn't that feel like forever ago? I know.
Wow.
And to know that I streamed that game using NDI and that the gameplay was choppy for the entire gameplay makes me super sad. But
still a good game.
Still a good game though, man. It was great for me, just not so much for stream. God of War 4. My first God of War game ever, and that game was fucking fantastic. Aside from this being the worst remote control in the history of console gaming.
Yeah, it's bad.
I did try to break this in half.
PS4 controller.
This stupid. Nobody needs a touchpad on a controller. This isn't fucking VR. We don't need this in here. I literally
it lights up sometimes.
I tried to get my fingers under and rip it off, and it didn't. So I can at least applaud Sony for putting together a solid pad. The rest of this controller, it feels like an empty plastic piece of shit, and this is fucking terrible. You know what's a better controller This, the Nintendo Switch dock without any fucking Joy-Cons in it. Anyways,
Also agreed.
God
Is it bad?
God of
Is
War.
it you want to talk about?
Great fuck. I don't know, not anymore.
You need to look at some boobs there,
We
buddy.
need to go back and talking about boobs because I need some relief. That's all boobs and women are good for is relief. Oh, I'm just kidding. I am just kidding.
Well, thanks for joining us for Crocs and Hot Pockets episode number 113. This is probably the last episode.
What I just did there is only possible because we have less than a certain amount of viewers. If we had more and there was a bigger audience and this got clipped out of context and put on live stream fails, this channel would be done. And I would be on Twitter being like, I don't know what I did. I can't believe I got banned. And then somebody just take this clip and be like, Knackers hates women. Fucking hashtag.
There's a cop from a small town that's about to clip this and be like, bet, dude. Bet.
Look what this streamer made me print on my Starbucks latte. Boobs are great. Women are great. Alien Isolation was the game that I played in 2019. That was really, really awesome. I enjoyed that game very much. The Last of Us was also a game that I played in 2019. And I can't say anything negative other than I had to use the PS4 controller to play the game. And then, of course, Outer Worlds. I have not completed Outer Worlds quite yet. I plan to very, very soon. But just my first 3 days of playing the game, I've had a really, really good time. It's one of the first single player campaigns that I have longed for. Like, I've been at work, think to myself, man, I want to go home and play some Outer Worlds. That's how like into it I was. So I'm excited to kind of get back and play some more. But those are kind of my highlights of all the games that I played in 2019. I just scrolled through actually all of my VODs from 2019, and I think there was only 3 other games that I played. I really didn't even stream that many games. The other one's not worth mentioning, Jak 2. I mean, I wish that I could just erase that game from everybody's memory and existence.
How about Fork Knife, dude?
I have had a lot of fun playing Fortnite recently. I did some a little bit of squads off stream a couple days ago. That was a super good time. I definitely would like to play some Fortnite more. I definitely want to be there from the season 1 to season 2 transition, or 11 to 12. I don't even know what the fuck we're at anymore. But yeah, those are my favorites of 2019.
All right, let's see. Mine isn't very in order. It's just I'm going to go as I think of them. And the first 2 that come to mind are Outer Worlds. Loved that game. I haven't finished my second playthrough, but I want to. And I'm doing it on the Supernova difficulty, which I always like playing a game on like the normal difficulty first. This is why I like difficulty in video games, because you can do this kind of stuff. But you can play it on normal first to get the gist of it. And then you're like, okay, now that I understand, I'm going to play it on the hardest one to see like what different ways you can play with it. So I'm gonna hopefully do a Supernova playthrough. But then Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order was huge for me. That game was so sick. I loved it. I've been watching like a lot of reviews lately because like you do that thing. I know a lot of people do this, but instead of watching a video game review before you buy it, you watch it after you've bought it and after you've beat it to like see if other people are thinking about it the same way you are. You're like, I want to see if they like the same thing I like or they don't. And the thing that I'm finding is that so many people get glitches in that game that I didn't get. Jimmy, I don't know if you're getting as many glitches, but all the reviews I've watched, they like find these crazy glitches. And I maybe got 1 glitch the whole game. Mm-hmm. And I'm just blown away by that.
I have not had many. I've had only like 1 or 2 glitches. And
same.
I've already dropped like 25 hours plus into that game. So
yeah, I was blown away. I've like been watching Video Game Donkey. He always does funny stuff mostly, but he has a knack for finding knack. He has a knack for finding glitches in the game. Like half his videos are just him finding glitches. Yeah. I'm like, how do you do that? Like I have 1 notable glitch that I can remember, and that's it. But that game is excellent. I'm very biased. I'm a big Star Wars fan, but I wasn't expecting it to be as good. Like I was just like, yeah, I'll get it through the EA Origin access. Like I'm not spending $60 on a game that I don't really know anything about, and it's made by EA. Like
right.
So for a nice little Origin $15 access pass, I was very, very surprised. Trying to think of other ones. I recently played Raft with the boy Howie, which was pretty fun. I didn't expect that one to be it was quick and it's like not finished yet. Like there's no like finished part to it yet, but it was pretty fun and like pretty survival-y, if that's a word. Like I was expecting it to be more like arcadey, but like you got to pay attention to that shit.
Oh yeah, I had a blast watching you two go at that game.
It was pretty fun. I played Minecraft for like almost the entire summer. I got really into like shaders and shit, and just like doing that was like a whole new experience because obviously like I played Minecraft like way back in 2012, before that even, and then I played a little bit mid 2010s, and then I came back to it this time, and the way that I like experienced it anew was to put shaders and do like texture packs and just make it look like way different, and then it like felt like a different game almost. Yeah. And then I played The Forest, which was really good. I played that one with Howie too.
That game is so fucking good, man. People, if you have not played The Forest, you just need to, and that's all I'm gonna say about it. With friends, you need to play it with people.
Yeah. I played it one day. I remember I was like, one day I was like, I'm gonna play Forest by myself, and I was just like,
no.
I mean, it's still okay.
Yeah,
but it's not great. Because like you just get lost. Like if you don't have like a buddy to play with, you just like I don't know what to do. Nothing, I guess. I'm gonna sit in my hut and be afraid of the cannibal dudes or whatever. Because they're so scary, dude. Speaking of scary, I played Blair Witch, which the only reason I did it was for Halloween or whatever. I don't like scary games, but I played it for Halloween, and I was surprised by it. It wasn't bad. The scares weren't as bad as I thought it was, so that's always good. That's always a bonus. But I don't get scared shitless. And I think that's about it. I've thrown in a few Fortnite games, a few PUBG games, a few Apex. Like all the BR is like BR games sprinkled in there throughout, kind of deal. And then I just recently started playing Tropico 6. Ooh, and I like that game.
Okay.
I like those kind of games are like my dirty little secret game. You know what I mean? Like I love those games where like it's like a strategy / city building. Like Civ 5 is like one of my favorite games of all time that like doesn't fit my normal like of games. Like normally I like RPGs and very story focused games, but sometimes I'm down to just build a city and city skyline for like 4 hours.
42 loves 100%. Civilization. That's like one of his all-time favorites.
Civ 5 is like I have 200 plus hours on that game. Like I fucking we used to just like
holy moly
spend whole weekends in like a Discord chat just like Civ 5 the whole time.
Nice.
Great. Yeah, so those were mine, I think, for the most part.
I think you have way too good of a memory to be on this podcast ever again. Like
that, I'm actually surprised. I'm probably forgetting stuff too, but like I jump around from game so much that like that's just how I like my train of thought is okay. Like for instance, I thought, oh, I played Raft, and then Raft reminded me of The Forest.
Yeah,
The Forest reminded me of this game. It's just like you connect the dots. I was only thinking when I started. I was only thinking of Outer Worlds and Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order. I just kind of kept remembering.
You did good, kid.
Thank you.
Catch on the head.
I'll break mine down like this. I get super invested in 3 types of games. One that requires a bunch of human interaction to make it interesting. So a game like The Forest, right? A game like World of Warcraft Classic. If you take the players away, they're completely boring, right? So like just having those little storylines that are generated from other people playing them, I love that, right? Like simple games like Slapshot, it's a free-to-play game, this little hockey game.
Yeah,
had so much fun playing that this year. And I put like probably
Slapshot's
like 60.
Sick.
It's so sick. It's so sick. It's just
so
like obviously it's boring by yourself, but it's like it's kind of like getting over it in a way where it's just like a skill that you don't have as far as like your mouse control and stuff like that. Super fun. And then there's like the creative building games. I love like Roller Coaster Tycoon or not Roller Coaster Tycoon. What's the other one? Planet Coaster. Planet Coaster. I look at those games and it turns into a job for me, right? Because I found out in Planet Coaster you can import object like 3D models into the game, so you could build like your own custom logo for the park and then plaster that everywhere, right? Like it makes me just want to create like I spent like 300 hours at the beginning of the year playing Planet Coaster, building a Fortnite replica of or of Retail Row. So like 1-to-1 replica, because I found out that all the models were relatively the same size. And I dumped a bunch of time into it, but then it becomes like overwhelming for me because I'm like, there's so much that I can make, but it's like, it's going to take way too much of my time. And then I look at a game like Oblivion or Skyrim this year. You were talking about how you took Minecraft and you put shaders on it. I did the same thing with Skyrim, right? It was like a whole different experience. But then it became more of, hey, how can I input all of these different, like what different add-ons can I add to make this interesting? But then it took away from like the experience of the story of Skyrim and started making me think while I played through it, oh, I wonder if there's a mod for that. Like, oh, I wonder if there's a mod for that.
There is.
That's a big deal.
It kind of fucked me over in a way because it like I want to play Skyrim. I really want to play it, but then like it's such a huge time investment, and the fact that there aren't other people there, I haven't been able to get into it. Like I feel like now I'm like, especially this year, I've been really focused on games that other people are interacting with. Probably the best shooter that I played all year is a game called Hell Let Loose, and it's because people take it seriously. It's this World War II simulation game, and I played it for like, it was a short period of time, 2 weeks, and basically you have like a general on the team, then he controls the squad leaders, and the squad leaders control their squads. But like the communication is just it's awesome, right? It just makes it like there's 60 versus 60 or 50 versus 50, and it's just this big all out warfare. So I love games that like have human interaction involved with them. And I've been really staying away from like storyline specific games, which I'm annoyed by. Like I really want to play Red Dead Redemption. I have yet to play through Red Dead Redemption because of the fact that it takes too much fucking time. Right. Same thing with Skyrim, Outer Worlds. Like I love these big storytelling games, but it's hard to convince myself to do those things when I'm like, I could be spending time with people. Right.
Would you ever like play one of those games with somebody like? Because I know people do this where they'll like they'll play Skyrim with somebody who's also playing Skyrim. Maybe not like at the same time, but they'll play Skyrim together and be like, "Oh, I just did this. Oh, I just did this." Would you ever do something like that,
dude? 100%. That's what my brother and I used to do, and we used to both have our own Xboxes, and we'd play through and be like, "Oh fuck, I just got this," and then we'd be like, "Hey, how did you get that?" I love the idea of that because then it's like I'm not required to. Like I don't feel so lonely. I think that's what it comes down to, is like me feeling lonely while I play that game. Yeah, FOMO. I get FOMO and I get lonely while I play storyline games. It sucks.
That's why you have companions in those games.
Yeah. The fucking companions are doing it for me. But so to kind of wrap the whole thing up, like one of the best games I've ever played was, or two of them. One of them, and they're both very similar. One of them was XCOM 2, which was Jimmy's suggestion. And I don't know if I really liked the game because it tied in like I was tying in chat members as each player, like each character in the game. So I became attached to those characters based on the performances and these storylines that kind of unfolded based on like Dover was one of my viewers that he was in the game and he had like 80 kills by the end of it. So it was like, there was like this cool storyline that he was this super fucking badass dude.
Damn.
And then so XCOM's one of them. I don't know if streaming enhanced that game per se, or if I would like it if I played it by myself. But the other game was Divinity Original Sin 2, which is a really fun game, but incredibly boring to stream. Like, what made it great was the storyline, fantastic, one of the best storylines of a game that I played, but I played it with my buddy Goose, and it was amazing. So I just have a hard time playing the storyline games, but I really want to. I have like this crazy FOMO, and it makes me mad.
You brought up a great point. There is somebody that I met at TwitchCon who is a friend of Game with Gray and Activate Angel, and I'm gonna butcher the second part of his name. His name is Charmed. It's spelled Baryon. Baryon.
I would think the first one, Baryon.
Baryon. Okay, so his name is Charmed Baryon.
I could be wrong.
And he does strictly permadeath Skyrim runs where he builds up characters of certain things.
Find him.
So I'm gonna throw his link in chat right now because I've been watching him lately and he's so fucking knowledgeable. He's got a great personality. He's a huge techie and just something that I kind of vibe with. And I've been like putting on his streams kind of in the background, and he does like all these cool skits with his characters and gets his community involved and voting for certain things. And it's always a super cool watch. I just didn't think that was something that I would be interested in watching, but that's one of those things that I have no interest in playing
but you love watching
is actually kind of fucking cool. Because when you do watch some crazy RNG happen and that person dies, you can see just like the failure just melt from their face, and knowing they have to start all over and do it again. But it's a super cool watch, and he's a cool guy. So if you guys want to check him out, I put his link in chat.
I already followed. I love like Skyrim and Fallout, like challenge runs or like heavily modded runs where it's not just vanilla, but they like do something to make the game like almost completely different. That's that's like my bread and butter. Like I'll watch. Like, I don't know if you guys do this, but like sometimes instead of going to your following list, you're like, oh, who's playing this game that I love? Like you probably have a game that you go to.
No one streams. Yeah.
Yeah. You're just like, oh, let's see who's playing Fallout New Vegas. Oh, there's four people playing Fallout Vegas. Oh, this person's doing like 150 plus mods. Yep.
Yeah.
Like I love that kind of shit. And I wish I could do that, but like I've tried to mod out one of my Fallout games and it crashed all the time. And then I do the thing that you were talking about, Bishop, where I can't just stick to like a mod list. Like I'll pick out like 30 or 40 and be like, okay, that's enough mods. And then like 2 hours in, I'll be like, wouldn't it be cool if like this looked different? Or like
is there a companion app for that, or can I change like the
and the big thing with mods that I learned is that you can't, or it's really bad if you add mods throughout the playthrough because it like fucks with the loading and stuff. And so like I was just like end up like botching all my playthroughs because like 30 hours in they just like start breaking down because they're like, you're taking away and adding too many mods. Please stop.
Even the NPCs are like, please stop.
Yeah.
Oh man.
There's been some TikToks going around of people like reenacting NPCs in Skyrim and Oblivion. That shit makes me laugh. Those are the TikToks I want to see.
That's the stuff you want to see.
Yeah, I'm still like pretty salty.
You don't like the dad hat dancers? You don't like those ones?
The dad hat dancers?
Yeah, there's like 5 white dudes that just like act like they've just met each other and like, hey, you want to dance?
I'm glad I have curated my For You page to not see that.
Yeah. There's only one thing worse than streamer Twitter, and that's streamer TikTok.
Yeah, 100%.
I'm sure if I spent the time, I could probably find some fellow creators who do a very good job of building up a great backlog of TikTok content. But I just don't fucking care enough to go looking.
There's only like 6 jokes you can make. Let's be real, right?
And 5 of them are character selection fucking TikToks. Yep. Oh!
Hey, I did that, but it wasn't for a Twitch streamer one, okay?
Okay.
I did it for something else.
All right. Well,
the joke I thought was very subtle. All I did was I did the tall person stat sheet and I just cut off my head right here. And that was like the joke. I thought it was fucking hilarious.
All right, you're forgiven. I can get behind that one.
I was like, this is hilarious. Nobody can tell me otherwise. Fuck you guys.
Yeah.
I was gonna get into the a Go XLR topic that I had, but I want to wait until Jimmy comes back so I can roast him about.
I have a tangent off of what Bishop was kind of talking about, how like he had games that were influenced by his stream. If that's something you guys want to talk about, like I'm sure maybe you've talked about it before, it's been brought up, but I love hearing about those games that like you'd think would be really fun to stream and would only be fun to stream, and then games where like you would never play it off stream. Like those are always fun to hear because it's like crazy. That's like a new concept, you know what I mean? Like before, developers never had to think about like, oh, would this be like a fun game to stream?
Yep.
Like they never had to think about it. Now it could totally like change how fun a game is, kind of
right. And it seems like whenever they make that decision, when the developer decides to like, wait, can we make something that's decent for streaming? They always fuck it up, right? Like it always like there was this game SOS that was a BR that was like surrounded around notoriety and like building an audience and having viewers and stuff like that. And
Radical Heights.
Oh, Radical Heights was another one. Yeah. Another BR. Yeah, but there's been a few of those, but I think. And you mentioned it before. Like, I don't know if it's specific games that make or that streaming can help as far as like making them more interesting, like your chat or whatever. But I'm always interested in looking at games in a different way and just using them as a content creation like hub, right? So like World of Warcraft Classic, it's WoW is WoW, right? And watching anyone play WoW isn't that interesting. But then instead, you're like, okay, we're going to host a dueling tournament within the game and then get all of these different personalities into it and turn it into like a sports broadcast instead of it being the game. So it's players competing against each other. Or one thing that I was considering doing is I really love like management games, like Motorsports Managing or Motorsports Manager or XCOM 2 is another game that's management related. But I was thinking how cool it would be to have like a Motorsports Manager season, and all of the drivers are all viewers, right? So then like they're like just free to do whatever. I'm not managing the race, I'm not driving any of the cars, but I'm just casting over the top. Right. Like there's just, I like that like third layer over top of a game that makes it more interesting, like creating a challenge or doing something outward that isn't part of the content that's scripted into the game. Right.
Adding something to a game that doesn't necessarily have that. You add your own thing to it that's fun.
So XCOM's a good one. Motorsports Manager, any of the city building ones, you can make them interesting. Chat always loves those type of games.
After people
so
dumb shit.
Conbot, you're talking about games that are way better on stream.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like for instance, I
getting over
played. I mean, that's a whole other thing. That's your own thing that I don't understand.
Talk about one of the greatest gaming experiences of 2018, right there, man.
So what I'm thinking in my mind is I played, and this goes in Bishop's thing of like adding something to a game that doesn't necessarily have this. So I did this thing called The Sims Battle Royale, which is where I took some of my subscribers that like sent me their picture on my Discord, and then I'd go into Sims and I would create them, and then I would put them in a house with like a bunch of stoves, a bunch of pools, a bunch of hazards per se, and then close all the doors, and they only get one bed, they only get one bathroom, and then just press go, and then the last one to survive, like I gave him like a gift card or something like that.
That's amazing. That's
and it was
amazing.
like that would have been not so fun if I wasn't streaming, right? Like that's
right.
Yeah, so like that's something that I think of, like that enhances that game so much to me, where it's like it's almost a completely different game. It's taking a game that is a thing and then saying, no, I want to do this with it. And that's like pretty fun.
Case in point, CDN the Third's spy games for Sea of Thieves.
Yeah.
I don't know if any of you guys got a chance to watch those, but he basically would gather up a bunch of streamers. And the best part about it was that every streamer had to turn off chat. And it was fully gamer immersed gameplay. And it was, I can't remember all of the rules, but there was basically 2 galleons of 4 or 3 galleons of 4 where one person was a spy for another team, and you had to do a certain amount of things as the spy without getting found out. And it was some of the best content to watch on Twitch. It was just phenomenal.
Yeah, like adding stuff like that is super. It's like it's a creative. You take somebody's creative work, which is creative, and then you create something out of that creative work to make it double as creative.
Well, look at GTRP.
Yes,
that's exactly.
Just about to say that.
It's just narratives on top of something that already exists, and just using and that's why maybe I have a big challenge with playing like a game like Red Dead Redemption, right? And when those games come out, people are playing those to experience the narrative of those games, right? Like I feel like me getting into that game right away, like it kind of feels like a rat race in a way from the streamer's perspective of who can like get through the game and put their time in to play through the storyline, because people are there to watch you play through the storyline, right?
Doesn't work that for Jimmy and his playthrough.
How many days now, Jimmy?
No, I mean I beat it, but it took me. Shit. I mean that took me like almost a year.
Oh my god!
Not quite. It was a 8 or 9 month playthrough.
8 or 9er.
8 or 9 months.
Well, speaking of the 69ers,
I mean, I was taking my time, man. That was the thing. But see, that's I see what you're saying, and maybe that's when I play a story based game. Like I have no problem just taking my sweet ass time
100%
and play it, and I'm okay with stepping away from it for a week or two, also, and then going back to it. Some people don't want to do that, but I have no problem doing that. That game, it's a long game though. I mean, it's and there's a lot to sink your teeth into. So,
and for games like the RPGs, I get way more enjoyment out of having people who aren't afraid to watch the game again and also give tips. Like, I don't want to play a game the first week that it's out. Like, I don't.
Yeah.
And maybe that's the wrong way to think about it as somebody who's trying to grow a Twitch channel. But when I think of new games coming out, I'm like, no, I think I'll rather just wait 4 to 8 weeks out, and then I'll give it a shot after everybody has already seen it. Because like people like us are never going to be aren't the people where your community wants to come watch the game for the first time. They're going to go to Co or Lyric or, all of those big dudes.
The guys that take the gameplay and
or like if you're fucking, one of those guys where a game is coming out and you have a stream where the first 5 hours are you loading, like sitting at the loading screen waiting for the game to be active.
There was I think it was with Red Dead Redemption. Like there's like random events that happen. One of them was this guy getting kicked in the face when you ride up next to him, right? Like on one of the trails. Everybody started posting that clip. Like it's so annoying to me because like the randomly coming across something and being surprised by it, it was ruined by Twitch, right?
Yes.
Like that piece of it was ruined by Twitch and Twitter. It's still good. I love that moment. I was like,
if you see it for yourself, it's still pretty good.
Yeah, it's fantastic. I just feel like for me, I find things way more interesting, and this comes back to Conbot's point. It's way more interesting to me when the person is either providing a narrative of their experience that's the interesting piece to it. Like Rabaz, I don't know if you guys have seen her, or Rabaz, fantastic. Like just the way that he experiences games is hilarious, right? Because I think he's a Swedish guy. Don't quote me on that. Oh god, I'm gonna get blasted. But Rabaz, everything that he plays, it's funny because he's bad at it, right? And it just makes it funny, right? But like for me, I feel like pressure almost to be someone that's just going to play through the game. But then I'm like, well, how can I make this interesting? But and especially for a game that's like a long storyline, like a game like Skyrim or Fallout, how can you keep up with those narratives over time, right? Like if I'm playing as the character, like if I'm playing to emulate it as RP, like in an RP sense, I find it very hard personally for me to like keep to that RP and not just like fall into the story and be myself again, right?
Right.
So I like like you were talking about your buddy's channel that he does like these Iron Man runs. That is such a cool idea because it's basically a battle royale at that point, right?
Right.
You're sitting waiting for that big moment. There's a ton of anticipation that's building and building and building while you're watching someone play. The more time that they're putting into it, the more there is to lose, right? Like what moment is he gonna get fucked over, right? So I love like that third layer, and that's the thing that isn't really written, like the best way to do that. A lot of times you can find games where you can create those narratives, like that battle royale for The Sims, right? Like maybe someone else had done that in the past, but what a cool idea. Like I would sit and watch that for hours,
right?
And wait till like all of the viewers are dying up. Like that's a fantastic idea.
And that's the thing is that like that kind of stuff, like I would say like in that instance, the first like 2 or 3 hours, nothing happened, right? But the minute that first person dies, like everybody goes fucking nuts.
Yeah,
it's hilarious. They drowned or set themselves on fire, and it's like you're sitting there watching Sims do nothing. You're just kind of talking, hanging out, and then all of a sudden somebody's dead.
Happening.
Yeah,
that's in regards to your point. And if you have not seen The Mandalorian yet, okay, I'm gonna put my hand up. This isn't
first 2 episodes.
Okay, this isn't a spoiler, but it's a moment that I believe was stolen from people everywhere. So chat, if you're looking,
I know what you're talking about.
I'll put my hand down as soon as I'm done talking about The Mandalorian. I'll give some seconds. When images of Baby Yoda first hit Twitter and robbed everybody of that first moment of seeing Baby Yoda for the very first time, I was like, oh my God, it's so cute. But at the same time, I'm like, I'm so fucking pissed that there are going to be millions of people that are not going to be able to see this for the first time when they're watching the show. And I, for one, am just so grateful that I was able to see that during the show. And I hate that it was fucking memed all over. And I don't know, that makes me sad. Does anyone want to say anything real quick before I put my hand down?
No, I feel the same way because I love Star Wars. You guys know that, and I remember when that show came out. I know, right? And I've watched pretty much every episode like the day it comes out. But I remember when that reveal happened and it was just all over the place. I'm like, man, that sucks, man. Because like people are gonna, you know, they have something that's a critical part of the show that's taken from them that they don't get to experience for themselves for the first time.
Right.
So
yeah. But oh man.
Can Bishop unmute?
Yeah, you come back, Jimmy, or Bishop.
I'm here, man. I'm here. But no, I've seen. So I'm guessing it's about the Baby Yoda thing. I've seen so many of those memes. That actually, this could be a complete and total tangent based on what you guys were talking about because I wasn't listening at all. Right? Like this could be complete tangent. I've noticed how many memes have come out of like that Baby Yoda thing. And there's this channel, Fuck Jerry. That's it.
Our hand up.
Yeah, you just said the thing.
That's what we're talking about.
Oh, is it the Baby Yoda?
You already know.
So there's so many so many shit memes that have come out of that are actually not even funny. Like there was this one where it was the baby thing holding a spatula, and it's like me when my mom is making dinner and I'm waiting to making dinner and I'm waiting to flip the thing. Like it's like, how is that even funny? Like this is a garbage can shit meme.
Normie meme.
Yeah.
That's like a fucking three-head meme, dude. Like get this shit out of here with these trash fucking memes. I feel like Fuck Jerry, they're like, we can no longer steal all of our memes from Reddit because people found out that we're not creative, right? Like we're not the guys that are creating these things. We're just reposting. And now our memes suck. We got this one off Twitter from a guy or a girl named Stephanie, and Stephanie wasn't creative enough to make something funny, so we're just gonna repost this.
Some 9gag shit right there.
Yeah, holy shit.
All right, everybody went over all kind of their best. I don't even know where we started with that conversation, but yeah, boobs.
Can I
went on all sorts of things.
On that just a little bit. So Jimmy, and before the stream started, before the chat could hear us, I said to Jimmy, Jimmy, look me in the eyes, lock mustaches, eyebrow to eyebrow. I have rewatched all 4 or 5 of the Star Wars movies. I've never watched them. I watched them as a kid. I love Star Wars. I've always loved Star Wars, and I give Jimmy shit all the time and call it Star Wars or Star Trek or some shit like that, or say
Star Zone.
Star Zone. I always fuck with them, right? I've never focused on the story the entire time. What a great storyline. Like the greater picture, right? Like obviously the Star Wars is like everyone sees the movie and they're like, wow, this is great. But the actual, we started on episode 1, it went 2, 3, 4. So we kind of did the newer movies first, and now we're back on 4 or 5. And the storyline is fantastic. Like what a great storyline. Right?
Yeah.
It's great, man.
You see it copied a lot too. Like that. Yeah. It's the tragic hero storyline.
Yeah.
That's like
I never realized all that shit was going on. Like I've been a fan of Star Wars and understood most things, but now that like I have a true idea of what's going on. Like there's actually you watch it on, I don't know if it's only on Amazon or if you like Disney or whatever the fuck the platform is that plays it. There's a way to have it narrated with like this narrator that gives you context of the scenes. It's called like AD, I believe. I don't know if it's like an Audible thing. But they provide context of like what scene you're jumping into, like what planet. And it feels like I'm a total fucking moron, like talking about like this narration that takes place. It's super annoying to listen to, but it's like, oh my God, there's so much to this. Yeah, the lore is fucking sick,
which
dude.
I already know, so I don't need it. But
yeah, you ain't no fucking fake ass Star Wars fan, dude.
Well, good, man. I'm glad that you're finally getting the chance to enjoy and join all the rest of us who love the Star Zone.
Dude, I love Star Zone. Let's just say this on this podcast. Official statement. Knackers gave me the go ahead on this. Star Trek is dog shit. If you like Star Trek, it's fucking garbage. All right.
Can we all agree that Star Wars is
it's so
better
good
than
dude.
Star Trek?
Can we just lump Battlestar Galactica in there too?
Yeah, Battlestar. What is that like? That's like Warhammer, dude. Play World of Warcraft, you fucking loser.
We're about to get canceled.
The way I see Star Wars and Star Trek is like apples and oranges, though. They're not the same type of show.
One's good and one's
sci-fi. Yeah, it's sci-fi. Like
it's a different type of show.
Yeah.
You know what? Trekkies, go fuck yourself. The Star Wars is where it's at, dude.
You know,
I mean, I will say Star Wars is where it's at, but I get some enjoyment out of Star Trek too, but it's nowhere near the enjoyment I get out of Star Wars. So
it makes no sense. It's trash, dude. Let's just say it. You're free to say it.
I had a a final project in college where we had to film like a round table debate with like multicams, and like that the project was learning how to edit like multicam stuff.
Yeah.
But he was just like, you can film a debate. It doesn't matter what it doesn't even have to be a debate. And I was just like, I'm gonna get two people. One loves Star Wars, one loves Star Trek, and just let them go at it. And it was like really interesting and fun.
It's a good idea.
Like, they were both like joking around half the time too. Like the Star Trek guy would just be like, Jar Jar Binks. And the Star Wars guy, damn it. Or, you know, like it was kind of jokingly, but it's like that kind of stuff. I love the whole nerd battles. I'm all for it.
Yeah.
Like you were talking about, you've talked about this plenty of times. That's my thing. Don't make fun of my thing. Like, who has time for that shit? But in like that in that construct, I like it. Like, fighting over like
them, dude.
just fighting over like the dumb things that you have sometimes is a good time.
You know the feeling that you get in like your tear ducts and your glands, like the moment before you start to get emotional about something, there's just like a quick, like there's a little chuckle in your lymph nodes and your tear ducts. We just watch like one of the things that we've been doing lately, and I don't know why, but when we don't have anything good to watch on YouTube, we'll do like the 20 trailers of movies that are upcoming like this month or this year, and we'll just kind of blast through them. We've watched the new Star Wars trailer at least 9 times, 10 times. And every time I see it, I get that quick like, oh. And it's ever so slight, and then every time fucking
tear ducts, or is that happening down here?
Every time fucking Leia Organa comes on screen, and Weenie just goes, oh, like you can see it building up inside her.
They hit you with that Force theme. Dude. That if I hear that, I'm like, fuck. I'm fine.
Even right now, like just talking about it, like I can feel my face like just getting a little worked up. Star Wars is fucking great. It just is. Have you seen Rogue One yet, Bishop?
A little.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, I don't think so. I was just gonna say we're only just over 2.5 weeks away from the new movie.
I know.
Yeah, and I think that's why like I felt bad because like the new Star Wars, I didn't go into them with context. I didn't pay attention. I didn't like put actual effort into like prepping myself by catching back up on the story. I was like, why the fuck am I like all the new Star Wars stuff? I used to be such a huge fan of Star Wars. Like I'd play Battlefront, I'd play all the Star Wars games. I used to love that shit. And like I haven't been invested in it, and it feels bad. It's like I'm missing out on a great time. So now having rewatched some of the stuff, I'm like, God, like this is so good. I'm so excited because I haven't watched Rogue One with context, right? Mm-hmm. So like I don't know what the fuck's going on. So I'm ready to get into to like the newer movies, which is cool. But we're in the OG movies right now, and it's cool just like watching how the story's rolling out. It's like, God, this is actually good. Because typically, like you step back and you look at storylines over movies, and you're like, okay, come on, like why wouldn't you just do this? Like why wouldn't you just why wouldn't you just take the Eagles to the fucking mountain right from the first place? Like do you know how easy that would have been? Gandalf, you're slacking. Like. I haven't found the plot hole yet, right? So I'm excited. Yeah. Star Wars is great, man. I love Star Wars, dude.
I've been thinking about this, and I tweeted it today. That kind of reminds me, we're talking about movies and shit. And so today, during dinner, Jurassic Park came on TV. We just had like the channel on to some random channel, and Jurassic Park came on, and we all were just sitting down watching Jurassic Park. We like all weren't planning on doing that, but ended up just watching the entirety of Jurassic Park. And I was like, aren't there just some of those movies that like you can't not watch it? Like even if you've seen it like 8 times, you're just like, well, this movie's on. I gotta sit through the rest of it. Like I have no choice. I'm sorry.
It's like you feel bad for clicking off of that. Like it's like, okay, I don't really want to change the channel. I know what's gonna happen, but it's so really good.
You like wait for those moments, like right, like when we were watching Jurassic Park. I'll say spoilers, even though it's Jurassic Park and you should have seen it by now. But the whole water bumping when the T-Rex is first coming, like that, you know that's coming.
But
it's still fucking cool. You're just like, that's like an iconic shot.
I was sitting today and we were watching I think episode 3 where Anakin is turning evil, like and they're trying to sway him to go one direction or the other and become Darth Vader.
Spoiler.
I was sitting there like, don't kill fucking don't kill these people, like just fucking come on, dude, you know what's gonna like, get your shit together. You know, like I'm sitting there like freaking out, like, come on, like, dude, just you know what's gonna happen. You haven't seen the other movies, Anakin, you fucking idiot.
Come on.
Those came out earlier than this one, dude.
I was watching Star Wars clips on YouTube today, and I'm on the side of that. I think episode 1, 2, or 3 are good movies. They're just good.
Thank you.
They're not abominations. They're not terrible. They're just good. Do they have some really stupid fucking parts? Yes. One of those parts
all of the middle of episode 2.
Yes. So one of the parts, I think this is in Revenge of the Sith, where Obi-Wan and Anakin are fighting Dooku. And one of the, either Anakin or Obi-Wan makes like a good move. And Palpatine goes, yes. He's fucking chained up in the chair. He goes, yeah. Like cheering them on it. I'm like, what the fuck is that?
But that's what you learn. The thing about Star Wars is that you love it for the whole encompassing picture, and then you find those little dumb things, and you love it for those dumb things too.
Yeah.
Like now, this is pod racing is the funnest thing to say to anything that's mildly exciting. Like you almost get in a car accident and you just yell out, now this is pod racing. Like you find those like little things and you love it for it. It's kind of like how like people like certain Bethesda video games. They like the glitches because it kind of is part of the experience. You know what I mean? Like the weird Star Wars shit where like these weird things happen, like the whole Greedo and Han shooting, and they edited it 3 times. They've now edited it like a 3rd time in the Disney Plus version where he has an extra word or some shit. Like you embrace that too. It's like, it's weird. Why would they do this? It's dumb, but also I love it.
Yeah, but at the same time,
like,
oddly turned on. Like it's like triple
General
boob.
Grievous. It's like General Grievous. That scene. It's like, dude, you got fucking 4 lightsabers. Come on. Like he's like,
right,
like,
and still died.
Like, come on, dude, just fucking stab him with all 4. Like, you know, like in and out, like little hot dogs, dude. Just go open your mouth, dude. Just hear like Kobe fucking Ashi. Open your mouth, dude. I'm gonna stab you with my lightsaber. But instead, he's like spinning and doing all this bullshit. It's like, dude, just fucking kill him.
Cool.
Right. If you were this fucking 10-foot droid with 4 lightsabers and you just charge at somebody going like this, what are they gonna do? Like, you're not gonna be able to do anything.
Fuck no. Well, and that's the thing. It's like, dude, you've got 4 arms, and he cuts off 2 arms. Like, that's fucking stupid. But like, clearly he was supposed to lose that fight. But it's cool because it's like, all right, this guy's doing like little cinematics, and he's about to get fucked on by 1 lightsaber, right? And spoiler alerts, he loses 2 arms, and then he loses all of his lightsabers.
With that said, when he did take 2 of the lightsabers and he was spinning them and slicing up the ground, I remember being like, oh,
it's so cool. It's sick as fuck.
What are you going to do, Obi-Wan? Are you going to become Obi-2?
Yeah. It's badass, man. Star Wars is fucking sick, dude.
So would you say that Star Wars is one of those movies that like you see it on TV and you got to sit down and watch it?
100%. Yeah.
It's like Christmas movies for me.
Yeah.
Christmas movies, like if
it's like Christmas movies where like if we're all sitting down, it's like, oh, we got to put on a Christmas story. It's like, no, got to put on Attack of the Clones twice.
Okay.
Dude, Lord of the Rings is that kind of movie because they release them all around the holidays. And I get people don't like Lord of the Rings, but dude, honestly, like I love those movies. I'll watch those every season, dude. Like those are every Christmas comes around, and I'm trying to make this like a thing with Casey and I where we watch Lord of the Rings movies. But now maybe it's a Star Wars movie. Like we're enjoying watching these movies that we've seen already, and it's cool. Like one of the stupid things, the dumbest, like this is a tangent off of that. Going back to Star Wars is like you always go to these Halloween parties, and some dumbass shows up in a stormtrooper outfit, and he's wearing like this cheesy plastic armor, and it's like barely holding together, and you can see like how it's like barely like you could just tell it's dog shit. And then you watch like the original Star Wars movies, and you're like, oh, they're also wearing that dog shit armor.
Wearing that bad armor.
Yeah, it's trash. It's like made of plastic. It's honestly like the same quality. It's like, wow, they're actually way closer than you ever thought that they were. Yeah. So that was one thing I clued into today. I was like, man, that's pretty badass.
Yeah, one of the biggest mistakes is putting like A New Hope on a 75-inch screen, and then you look at all the details. Are like, Oh God.
Like, yes.
Still good though. Still good.
Give
Still a
me.
great
I want to
movie,
see that stormtrooper nailing his head on the in full HD. Let me see it.
Yeah. I even noticed with like the lightsabers, they're like this like the effect that they use is completely different. Like the effect is like it's a flat 1 or 2 dimensional object, so you can kind of see the edges of it when it turns in a certain way. I've noticed that a few times, but that's just me being an After Effects guy.
That's fair. I originally wanted to dive into the topic of stream coaching today. I think I just want to go ahead and bypass it. Not that I don't want to talk about it, because we have talked about it before. The only thing that's happened recently is that there is a particular stream coach program that has come out that is $500. And
That's pocket change, dude. What are you talking about?
We're streamers, we're making millions.
Can you float some of that income my way, dude?
You got to spend some money to make some money. Come on, man.
Oh God. And so the basic, I don't want to briefly go over it and send people on a tirade, but I think the basic, like the infrastructure of the plan is that you have these 6 or 7 different streamers that are all a part of said program. And when you sign up, you get a bunch of this one-on-one time from all these different people and stuff. And I really wanted to get into it because I thought that there was valuable conversation to be had. And I still do think that there is, but the fact that we're coming up on the 2-hour mark already, I just don't see it wise to get into it right now.
It's a great conversation. I didn't even know that this was going to be the subject, so I obviously have a very strong opinion going both ways.
Right.
So I'm happy that we're not diving into it because it would basically be me screaming in the back of the room. Right. So,
and that's what I want that, because I too am somebody that sort of sits on the fence. And like I've mentioned before, I have people that I like and respect that sort of work in the stream coaching industry, whether it's a little bit or a lot of it. And it's a conversation that I've wanted to have with other people because I've just been stewing in my own poop for the past.
Let's collect ourselves, get our speaking points, and dude, let's go at it, man. I'm ready.
Okay.
I love this. I love this conversation.
Again, like I also love it. I want to get into it. I want to get angry, but I also want to like shed light on all parts of it because I think that there is something worthwhile that can come out of the conversation. But I think we'll just save that for another day.
Yeah.
One of the
maybe Conbot won't be here because he's my stream coach. So
yeah,
I don't want to.
Bishop is paying me actually $1,000 every week.
A week, yeah.
Holy
expensive, dude. I've been killing it. I think the last time I
just
streamed
said
was
good
like 6
job.
months ago.
Wait.
Yeah, I said you need to take a big break right away
and pay me while you're not streaming, and then as soon as you start, we're done.
Yeah,
hey,
and
it's
also
working, man.
Play
It's
WoW
working.
the whole time.
Topic I wanted to touch on real quick. I have a very how do I say this?
Nail biter topic.
I have a very like PMS. I have a very, and so we're getting back onto this topic of women. But I'm somebody that 100% believes that men have a period as well. Like we have our emotional weeks or weekends.
This is a topic I've talked about with people. It's an interesting topic.
Oh yeah, no, men have periods too.
Yeah, it's. I think it's low-key a thing.
Yes. I have a very emotional relationship with GoXLR, and not only the GoXLR as a product, but the GoXLR as like a team, like their employees and their marketing and stuff. I go to loving it, and then I go to like, and then I go to like, oh yeah, it's kind of cool, and then I see something happen, and I go, motherfuckers. So recently, and I only started kind of paying attention to this because a couple of weeks back, Weenie sent me a text saying the GoXLR is $100 off. I just got a notification on my price tracking app that the GoXLR is $100 off. And I was like, okay, what's the price? And she said $499 or $399. And I said, that's the price it always is. And she goes, well, I got a notification saying that the price was $100 cheaper. I'm like, look, I bought the GoXLR for $399 like 3 months ago. It has always been $399. And to prove, I went over to a website called Camel, which is a website where you can post a URL to an Amazon link, and it shows you the price history of a product. And the Go XLR, ever since its inception, has been $399 all the way up until November 2nd, where the price shot up to $499. And after that conversation with Weenie, I started seeing a couple more rumblings around the internet. And then I talked to Jimmy, who paid not quite $500, but you said $480.
Yeah, I found it for like $480 on Amazon.
Okay.
When I bought it.
So after talking to Jimmy, I started looking around. Sweetwater, Guitar Center, B&H, Best Buy, Amazon, all had it listed for $499. Now, in the history, anytime I've seen certain things go on sale on Amazon, instead of the device going on sale and being $20 cheaper and then going back to being its regular price, there's this weird staggered increase of pricing that happens on Amazon where it'll like the Logitech C920, it'll be $60 regular, and then it'll be on sale $39.99. And then throughout the day, it'll go to $41, and it'll go to $43 and then $47. And it all kind of depends on like demand and who's selling it and whatnot. And apparently there's a lot more stuff behind it. But I started doing some digging, and apparently, and was somebody who works with TC Helicon responded to one of my tweets saying, yeah, this is because of the most recent tariff changes. And now the Go XLR is $100 cheaper. The money does not go to Amazon. The money does not go to TC Helicon. The money goes to the government. And it's just because of the tariff increases. And at first I was like, okay, that makes sense. But then I don't see any other audio equipment that is being affected by these same price tariffs. So it kind of has maybe started to do a little bit more digging. And I'm not 100% sure what to think about it. I know that there are people saying that they're in the Discord for Go XLR and that they have made mention of the price increase. Do you guys find it odd, and maybe this is stretching, a little bit disingenuous, that a product that has been out for a year suddenly has a $100 price increase and there's no announcement of it? No tweet, no news story, nothing on their website. The TC Helicon website still has a pre-order now button. Their website doesn't even say that the Go XLR is officially out, which I also thought was very odd. One of the most revolutionary streamer audio equipment doesn't have their website updated to show that the product has been released.
Good job, guys.
Yeah, great work.
Killing it.
I have had very aggressive run-ins with people from Go XLR. There's times where I tweet about it. I don't tag anybody, but I just say the word Go XLR, and suddenly I've been bombarded with people from the company that are super, super quick to like combat whatever I'm saying. And so I have like I said, I have a weird relationship. Yeah. So do you find it weird, or am I completely off base thinking that a company should say, hey, this tariff that's coming out, it's going to increase the price of our thing a lot?
I know what's happening. They're from Victoria, Canada. They're just fucking lazy. That's what it comes down to.
Wait, because they're Canadian, or because it's Victoria, Canada?
Victoria is an island, and I don't know what owning a company in Victoria. I used to work for a company in Victoria, so I can speak on this. Honestly, running a company in Victoria, BC is probably the dumbest fucking thing that you could ever do. It's like running a company on Hawaii, but without any sort of systems to support it. So they're a Canadian company, and they're saying that tariffs are creating an issue for them. I feel like they're just not very committed to to like making sure that their price doesn't increase. I feel like that's a very illegitimate thing to say, right? Because obviously the tariffs don't affect. I feel like tariffs don't necessarily affect Canada as much as they would another country, right?
So one of the things that he mentioned was that Amazon pre-purchased a set amount of stock before the new tariff went into effect. And now that all of the stock has run out, the price increase is to reflect the most recent sales of the Go XLR.
So I would understand. So like, to go to your first question, you were asking, is it disingenuous for a company to increase prices out of a product that has been out for years, right? I think it's like, I don't necessarily mind if it's something that over the years, like they just are no longer manufacturing it. So now it's a harder commodity to get. Like
Sure.
it's a commodity at that point. You can't necessarily find it. It's a lot harder. They have a low, maybe they have like a pallet of them left. I understand them increasing the price at that point just for like the last run of it, if it's a product in high demand, or if they have another product that follows it that is also available, right? So they're saying, hey, we don't really want to continue to market this product. It costs more to support this product if people continue to purchase it. It makes sense to increase the price at that point because they don't have the staff to be able to support it as far as like the technical side goes. And if the staff is specifically trained to support the newer product that comes out, but I don't really see anything that shows a new product that was released. So I think that the increase is based on their inability to actually potentially receive the raw materials in Canada. So it might potentially be an issue, not necessarily with the US, but with Canada in receiving the items in Victoria, because they have to actually freight everything from Canada to the island, which increases the price of that. So I used to work for a sim racing company, and there was a bunch of bullshit that they were located on the island, and it was increasing prices, or they had to increase their price by thousands of dollars because of the issue with them being on the island.
Okay.
I think that's it though, because like I saw something in chat that said it's because they want to sell more of their Go XLR Mini, and that immediately goes, oh yeah, that's it, right? They go, we have this new product that we want people to notice and go, oh, it's cheaper than the normal one, and then they'll buy that new one. And that to me is like marketing 101, right? Like we have a new product coming out, let's raise the price of the old one so people don't buy that and they buy the new one so that we get these new things out, kind of deal.
And now with the price increase, the Go XLR is officially the Mini is officially half the price.
Yeah, and so somebody, a random person, maybe a new streamer per se, right? They're going and I'm going to buy all the right streaming stuff. They go and they see the Go XLR and they see the Go XLR Mini. They're going to go, oh, it's $200 less. I'm going to get this new product.
Right.
So that's what, yeah.
From a feature standpoint, what is the Mini lacking that the typical XLR has?
Motorized faders, the vocal effects, the sampling part of it. It's pretty much now just a mixer with the Midas preamps and the software and all the compression and
is it just an interface at that point?
Yes.
Like so it's the same thing as a Scarlett.
Yes, but with way more stuff built in.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah,
gotcha.
Yeah. It's. I just watched the video on what the difference is, and if you're curious, Alpha Gaming has a video on this of all the differences. But I would say as a $250 unit, very much worth the money. I would say.
Gotcha. So I wonder what it is specifically. If they were just basically they released a second, because I haven't, just so everyone knows, I haven't paid any attention to this. I've always thought myself that Go XLR isn't necessarily a great direction to go because it's an overpriced mixer that's been available with a few effects, but you can get that from a few other companies and a few. It's an all-in-one unit, right?
Yes.
It's just, I feel like it's catered to people that don't want to have to go and do the research and find each piece of audio equipment because it is extremely complex, right? It is complex. Audio is a pain in the ass to deal with. So they're specifically catering it to one market, right? Like the people that want to do podcasts, people who want to stream. But I'm wondering if they've released a second product. They're like, hey, it's kind of like the smaller version of what you can get, but there's not necessarily that much value, and there's no reason that anyone would buy this product over the an extra. Let's say it's an extra $100 to get the the previously priced Go XLR. No one's ever going to purchase the Mini, right? So their product sales are going to be terrible for that, right? For that release. Mm-hmm. So that could potentially be it. I mean, I don't have the answers to that, but it does definitely seem disingenuous. But I know that in Canada they have way more issues with importing product as far as like the technology. Like it could be boards, it could be that if these things are made of metal, getting it to the island is an increased price. So it's their own mistake.
Probably not by that much money though. It's probably like
but it's a business mistake, right? Like you're increasing your cost because you guys are making the mistake and the choice to stay on an island that doesn't have, like, they don't even have Uber on that island. Like it's almost Stone Age at that point, right?
Everyone return your Go XLRs.
Yeah, it's just a dumb decision.
They don't Uber, they can't be trusted.
It's an increase in price based on a misdecision of the leadership of the company.
And by the way, I'm not knocking the Go XLR whatsoever. I think it's an awesome device. I think it has filled a void for a lot of people. Not knocking it. I think it's awesome. I definitely think that the Go XLR Mini is a wonderful, wonderful solution. One of the replies that came from somebody who works at TC Helicon, it says this when he says this last part isn't true. I said, lastly, remember that Amazon prices are set by demand. If the item is low or out of stock, prices will be different. That was my last response. So he said this last part isn't true when you sell directly through Amazon. Prices are negotiated with a set price and price range, usually plus or minus $20, something like this. Prices are higher on Amazon US due to tariff duties on the retailers on most electronic imports, which that wasn't specific to Amazon whatsoever. It's the price for the Go XLR everywhere is now $499. You'll notice Go XLR is roughly equivalent to $399 USD everywhere else. I'm not sure if this was a typo. It's $499 everywhere. We still sell to Amazon at the same price as ever. Amazon is making same profit and 25% goes to the tariff. You haven't implied it, but I'll make sure I say it outright. Neither TC Helicon or Amazon are making more money. Amazon partnered retailers. We are one partner on price setting as well. Amazon agrees to buy from us for X amount price. We agree with Amazon to sell for Y price. Many retailers use Amazon as a distributor. Our partnership is different, so price setting doesn't work that way.
It's special with Amazon. These guys are big business guys, huh?
Guess so. So my response was,
we don't have a normal partnership with Amazon. We're special here.
Diamond. We have a diamond partnership. My response was, no, of course, I don't think you're lying, and I appreciate the info. So if TC Helicon or Amazon are not profiting from the $100, what changed between now and a year ago? The tariff? ? He says, right. So it goes to the government, as I understand it. I meant retailers outside the U.S. And yes, the tariff went live in July, 5 months before the price change. Amazon bought a bunch of stock pre-tariff, so we were able to go until October before the tariff units began to sell.
I can see where that's true, but also businesses lie.
Right. Yeah, I don't really know what to make of all of it. I just thought it was kind of odd and a little bit disingenuous that this product magically just went up $100 everywhere. And a lot of people just didn't know. They were like, "Oh no, this is the actual price." And people were getting alerted by applications that it's now going on sale to what its original price was. So I think it's probably just I think
that's just Black Friday and Cyber Monday as a whole.
This is true. This is true.
Oh, it's $4.99 was $7.99, but then it's always been $4.99.
Right. Right. Yeah. So,
well, isn't it against the law to increase price just to drop it down back to where it was to say that there's a discount?
I would say yes, but also nobody fucking cares because
no one's gonna keep
when I worked at Best Buy, that's all they fucking did. They were like, it's not that they were changing the price of the unit, but they were printing off something else that just said some random, maybe it was the same price on the website, but
there was some sort of class action that just took place. I can't remember specifically, so I'm just kind of talking out my ass right now. But I remember that there was some company that was marketing a product based on the markup and then marking it back down to its original price and saying that it was a discount, like a discounted price, and they ended up losing the class action lawsuit. So I'll find out what that is. I'll tweet about it if I can find it.
Okay. I remember there was this huge thing that when Trump took office, there was going to be this massive tariff that was going to increase the prices of computer electronics and audio and everything. They were all going to skyrocket. I don't ever remember that happening. And maybe this is officially the beginning of this happening, but I haven't seen price increases anywhere else.
Yeah, the Go XLRs, the staple of Trump's fucking
poor bastards.
Tariffs. Yeah, poor bastards getting targeted.
That was kind of I just wanted to touch on that because I didn't know how you guys felt. And obviously I do not have a finger on the pulse of the business world of any of this at all. So I like to bring it up because I want people who are smarter than me to chime in and put my mind at ease.
Yeah, I mean the thing that's annoying to me is that they're making it's almost like a what was me type of story, like, oh, the tariffs this tough. Every other company and I was looking at the umbrella of companies that they're under. Every other company that deals with this type of bullshit reacts to it. right? They don't put that additional cost on the customer. They either move their facilities, whether that be manufacturing. That's just part of the business, right? So the fact that they're, and I'm sure that these things are assembled in China, or they're assembled in Canada. There's one thing, I used to work for a camera company, and there's a lot of like real weird roundabout ways of saying that something's like made in the USA.
Yes.
Typically everything's made in China, right? And then it's shipped over here and it's assembled in the US. And because like 20% of that took place in the US, you can now say it's made in the USA. So that's just like a roundabout bullshit strategy that companies use. But where I'm really directing my negativity at the end of the day is like they're putting the onload, or they're blaming this tariff for their increase of price. But seemingly, like I don't have all the details, but seemingly from the surface, seems like that's not necessarily the case, because a lot of other companies that are located in Canada have seemed to be able to keep their prices at the exact same rate. I don't know if that's because Amazon's buying more of that product, but they're specifically stating Amazon as their example. But it seems like they're increasing prices across the board, not just on Amazon, which is obviously disingenuous in its own right. Like they're saying that it's just Amazon and tariff prices. So on my end, typically as a company, you don't want to say, hey, it's the tariff's fault or it's the customer's fault. Typically, you just want to deal with it and then move your manufacturing
Final
your
mouse
facility. Yeah, final mouse. You deal with it at that point, and then the cost doesn't end up on the head of the customer. It's just really interesting to me that they would release another product alongside this, and then be a lesser product, a newer product that is lesser, kind of like a Stream Deck release, like I think it was 6-button
mini, yeah,
a mini, right? They didn't pull the same bullshit, but who would ever buy a mini? Like you don't need it. It's literally relatively the same cost. There's no reason to ever buy that product, right? And I see this to be something similar, just from my own perspective. It's like they released a shittier version of what they already had. That ultimately the price difference, you would want all those upgrades. Like no one would make the decision to look at that and be like, oh, I can save $100 to get literally fucking nothing, or I could spend $100 to get all the effects, all of the cool things that as a streamer, which this product is specifically focused on selling to, or a podcaster, all of the things that would actually make me buy this over Yamaha's products are taken out in this new product, right? So that makes it a little bit fishy to me.
And the Go XLR Mini came out 3 months ago, well before the tariffs. So they either planned for that, and the Go XLR Mini is going to stay at $250 because it was going to be $200 before, or we are going to see an increase in the Go XLR Mini soon, and it might get even more expensive.
So why now?
Fuck them, dude. If I can buy my shit from Yamaha, I'm gonna do that. Fuck these guys, dude.
That brings me to something that I've been thinking about. Like, I feel like the more and more I see like these products advertised towards streamers, the less and less I trust it.
Yeah.
Like microphones that are targeted towards streamers. I'm like, no, I'm just gonna get like the stuff that like music people have been getting for years and years.
Yes. Razer microphone.
Yeah, right. Like
Logitech C922 streamer camera.
Yeah, like if they slap the streamer sticker on it, I'm immediately like, oh, this is them wanting to make money off people who are. Oh, I want to get everything right. Like I got to get all the right cameras, all the right microphones, and if it's labeled as streamer, then it's right. So it's like
right.
I see that and I go, oh, I don't trust that.
They're trying to fill a very niche void with a product that they think is solving issues that people potentially have, like the overcomplication of having like a DSLR camera, having to have it's a complicated thing. Like to me, it's very easy, and I find it dumb that more people don't use it, but it's way more complicated than the typical user would be able to deal with. So like, I know that they're trying to solve with these specific problems, trying to solve these really niche, like they're solving a problem for a niche audience. But at the end of the day, it's like, it's kind of in a lot of the cases, it's a watered down version of what they already have that has maybe one new feature that allows you to do, like for a webcam that can turn itself off, or you can say like you can see specifically if it's on while you're streaming, right? Or if it's working with OBS, like a light that tells you that. Like
can't even trust that.
It's fucking exactly. You can't even trust that. So I'm the same way as you, Conbot. Like if I see streamer slapped on something, I'm like, oh, cool, okay.
Yeah,
So this is marketed to someone that doesn't know what they're doing. Like that
it's
doesn't want
marketed towards the people who have expendable money, which not me.
all streamers, dude. We're rich as fuck.
Yeah.
Dude. We've
Which
got
is
all the
strange.
money.
Like it's marketed towards people who like are wanting to get into it and are like, I got to get the best things to start. Which, by the way, you shouldn't start after you have all the best things.
Right.
$500 is expensive for a mixer. $500. Like,
Yeah, Jimmy? How many years of streaming for you before you got the Go XLR?
It'll be 5 years in February.
we're just shitting on Jimmy right now. What a fucking
I know. Like I said, I didn't want this.
Go XLRs in it.
I didn't want this to turn into a shit on Go XLR because I do think it's a great product. I do think it's a little bit overpriced, but I think what it brings to people, the convenience, the simplicity, the style, the aesthetic, I think it does a lot of things right. I think Jimmy is the perfect motherfucking customer for something like a Go XLR, and Matt Weenie too.
I see him utilize it the way that like it makes sense. Like if for instance, the Mini doesn't have like the cool stuff that like the voice change. If I were to get the Go XLR, it'd be because of those like on the fly voice changing stuff.
Yeah.
And it's like well packaged, right? It's easy to learn. Whereas like maybe some of the other voice changing 100%. Equipment isn't as easy to learn. And so like if you're utilizing it like that, then yeah, sure, it's right for you. But like sometimes I feel like what's going to happen is like a new streamer or somebody who's just starting is going to get it and literally only use it to plug in his mic, and that's it.
Right.
They don't know what they need at the end of the day, right?
Yeah.
Like the typical streamer trying to start out doesn't need it. Don't buy a $500 mixer. That's the dumbest thing you could waste your money on, right? Like it's crazy. Like that's a crazy expense. I come from the world of like I started in photography and then moved into video. It's funny because video, like cinematics and like video production is this exact same kind of environment. They would sell these like an RC remote. You know how you have the controllers where you can turn the wheels? Mm-hmm. They would basically build it into a very similar lens control where it would zoom your camera. So you have like this little controller that you spin and it would zoom your lens. And those things were $10,000. Right? There's this backpack that you can wear that has this hook that comes over top, and it has like a line that holds your camera to reduce the amount of weight that you're carrying from your arms. Those things are like $6,000 for a drawstring. Video production, they do this all the time. I could find a million examples of where they extremely hike the price to an extreme range, and then slap for video production on top of it. And it happens constantly. I've seen that a bunch. So I'm not surprised that the same kind of strategy is working for streamers, where it's like there's all this technology that has worked for years for music producers and people that are like that have their own bands, like where there's thousands of more use cases for these products, and then they take it and rebrand it and add like a few features to make it more specific to a certain audience. So
stream coaching,
dude, let's go into it.
We're not getting into it. We got to move on. We got to move on. Any final points before we move on to the Q&A?
Jimmy, you're a smart guy, and I like you, and I don't mean to blast you about the your choice in mixer, dude. Like,
we figured out he's using it was for him. He made a good decision.
They marketed this product. The reason it's so expensive is because Jimmy's the only person that's ever bought it.
I take absolutely no offense whatsoever.
And how I know that is because Jimmy felt no reason to defend. He's like, I know that this product is exactly what I needed, and I know that there is something within this product that I've been looking for to enhance the entertainment value of my stream, and therefore it is worth every dollar that I spent, even the $80 extra that you spent.
Yeah, you got ripped off, dude.
$80, man, that's a lot of boner champs.
It is.
Can we get a quick boner champ melody?
I am the boner champ.
Almost. We got Chan.
We got Chan.
Another $80 to finish that off.
I got to get the updated firmware.
Oh man! All right, moving along to the question and answer part of the show. By the way, I did remember to switch out the banner below, so it didn't say "Welcome." We're just getting warmed up for the entirety of the show. I would like 15 gifted subs because I am doing the thing that I'm supposed to be doing. Just saying. Paul asks, did any of y'all play Death Stranding?
No, and I don't see myself probably playing that game. Not because I don't think it can be a good game. I don't think that. I've watched some gameplay of it, and that's enough for me to think to myself, I'm not hating on it. It's just I see it, and I think I would probably be bored playing it. So I just don't think it's for me.
Yeah.
So
I watched some reviews because I'm like interested in it, right? Like it looks like an interesting, and the weird thing is that normally I feel like it would be my game, right? Like I really like story driven games where like the story is more important than the gameplay, but it looks like normally I'll go for like a 60-40 favoring the story, right? Like 60% story, 40% gameplay, where that one seems like a 90-10% kind of thing, where like 90% story, 10% gameplay, and the 10% that is gameplay is garbage.
Yeah, and if you're ever doing a 90-10 ratio, it's usually, I'll give you a great example, which would be a 90-10 ratio type of game, what you're talking about. It came out, a couple years ago. Oh shit, what was the name of it?
Quantum Break?
Huh?
Quantum Break?
There's one more.
No, not Quantum Break. No, it was
a
an
robot
indie
thing.
game.
And there was an on or no, not the
No.
PlayStation.
It was the guy who was like a park ranger, and it was a really good story.
Firestone,
It was
fire something.
Firewatch.
Oh,
Like that game was basically walking simulator, and I mean, the gameplay wasn't really the great part. It was the story and everything else. Those work in smaller doses. Like you can beat that game in a few hours, you know?
I love that
For a game that's like 30, 40, 50 hours, I think it's like 30 hours at least to beat this game. And where you're not getting a lot of great gameplay, in my opinion, great gameplay, I just don't have the patience for that.
Yeah. It's like that one, you have that one friend, right? That's like, dude, I know you've been like drinking chocolate milk your entire life and it's great. You gotta try hot chocolate milk. It is just the greatest thing ever. It's something I never know that I need. It's like, no, I just want regular chocolate milk. I don't need this super far out fucking game that doesn't make sense to 90% of the population. That's kind of how I feel about Death Stranding. I know
some people love it, and that's fine. I just have seen enough of the gameplay that I don't see myself wanting to play it. So, just not my cup of tea.
I was just shitting on Jimmy for the XLR, so I'm going to continue shitting on him here. I think it's a fantastic game. The fact that it's like a WWE ladder match. You can take a baby to the top of the ladder match and jump off of it. And then you have to calm the baby down. It's ultimately a WWE simulator. You hop in a car, you drive across some land, you pop your ladder back out, you jump off and you hop on some rocks and you fall off and you got to calm the baby down. So that's some great gameplay. I mean, come on. There's no other game that can.
That's realistic.
That's that realistic where you have to calm a baby down.
That's realistic.
After falling 50 fucking stories onto a cliffside and you got to be like, hey, calm down, you little shit. And then you go back to doing it again. I think that's fantastic.
Death Stranding to me fell victim to the Star Citizen effect, where it was talked about for so long, hyped up for so long that I just got fucking sick about hearing of it. And it's not because I think that Hideo Kojima is a self-centered, arrogant prick. It's because I just got so sick of hearing about this stupid fucking game. And I was so disinterested by the time it eventually came out. And then it came out and I heard people talking about it. I said, okay, you know what? Thank God I never actually got hyped for this game.
I think anyone that was super stoked for the game in the first like let's say 6 months of it, like ultimately never seeing any gameplay, no storyline, just seeing that there was a real world actor that was playing one of the main character. I think the people that were hyped about that off of like the 3 trailers that came out can never, ever, ever bitch at anyone again for liking Supreme or any of those stupid clothing companies where they just build hype like a off of something that's dumb, like a pair of shoes or like Supreme clothing. Like you guys got hyped off of fucking nothing. Like, let's be honest. There was basically a picture of this actor that you guys have seen in a Walking Dead episode, or like a few Walking Dead episodes, and you guys were all shitting your fucking pants. Like you've seen this guy before. Like you calm down. Like there's really nothing here. I think that they did a great job of raising funds for the game for sure. They're like they built up a ton of anticipation. They showed you a couple screenshots. They're like, wow, this is fantastic. Oh, here comes, wow, there's an actor involved in it. That's fantastic. and then it fell short, and it was a piece of shit. Probably a great storyline, though, I'm sure.
And you can drink Monster in it, so
Yeah,
Hell
why
yeah,
not?
dude.
Do you feel the same about Keanu Reeves in Cyberpunk?
I feel like because they didn't show any gameplay, right? They just showed him.
not at that one.
Yeah, not at that.
Not at
There
that
is
one.
gameplay out there. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think that like having worked in like in a tech company and wait like having deadlines to get to, I think that they had like a meeting after like 3 months of saying, hey, you know, it'd be cool to put in this game this and this. All right, cool, go work on it. And then they're like 3 months later, like, holy fuck, what's happened to the timeline of this thing? Let's get everyone together. They sit down and they're like, hey, we've got E3 coming up. People are going to want to see gameplay. And then the main game dev's been playing WoW Classic the whole time. He's like, holy fuck, I'm fired. I'm so fucked. And then they're like, what can we do? What can we do? And then the guy's like, dude, the Matrix is fucking sick. Keanu Reeves.
Give me
Let's get him.
Keanu Reeves.
Keanu Reeves. Let's get him in its trailer. It's gonna like no one's gonna give a shit that they didn't see gameplay. They're gonna be so stoked. Pre-orders are gonna go through the roof. And they pull it off, and people are like, wow, there's Keanu Reeves. What else can we do? Let's get him at the show. Let's get him. How much is it going to cost to get him off the gun range?
He's awkward as fuck. Put him on
Yeah.
stage.
Yeah, let's put him on stage. You guys are beautiful. Biggest marketing. Like they couldn't have done
That was
anything.
free marketing for him.
Yeah.
Free marketing for them.
And
That's
then,
right.
yo, how much do you want to bet CD Projekt Red had a hand in finding his current girlfriend? Like, oh, now that we got Keanu up on stage and he's in the limelight, we've memed him. He's breathtaking. Now, after decades of just constant masturbation alone, let's get him with a lady that's willing to masturbate for him. And then it's like, oh my God, everybody
100%.
loves Keanu Reeves.
Who's this lady?
We're all just being, dude,
I
like
didn't know he was
this.
dating.
This conversation has come full circle about being groomed by our government to like boobs, and now we've come all the way
like
back
boobs
around.
and we like Keanu Reeves.
Yeah.
Don't give us either of those things, and we're fucking stoked.
Simple.
I feel
Put
like
tits.
The average put some tits on Keanu Reeves.
Oh man,
Now we're
game
talking.
over.
I,
That's
I will play
best
that
game
game.
of the year.
I will play that game all fucking day long, dude. Tits and Keanu Reeves. We're the dumbest consumers that have ever lived on the planet Earth.
oh God. Next question from Cola the Wookiee. If you love Planet Coaster, did you play Factorio? I think that's for you, Bishop.
Yeah, I loved that game. Factorio. Let me just. So, Conbot, did you play it?
No, I was kidding.
Factorio. Oh,
I've never
wait.
played any.
So there's a game. If you like the creative games, like just building shit. Factorio is basically this game that you build a factory. So you have to start from like mining ore, and then you build these conveyor systems into machines that turn that. It's a lot like Minecraft in a way, but the machines do a lot of the work for you. So it's kind of a sit back game. And then as you develop, you have to continue to upgrade your factory to output more and more parts, and it just expands. Right? It's a fantastic game. Loved that game to death. The problem is that in all creative games, the best part about them is tinkering and finding out how to do things, right? Like the journey of figuring that shit out is the best. If someone just gives you a sheet, like a cheat sheet that says, here's how to min max it. This is how many inputs that you need for this amount of outputs. It removes all the fun from the game. And that's what happened with me with Factorio. I used to stream it. There's a bunch of people that came in and were like, hey, you've got like five conveyor belts of ore running into one machine. It should be a 3-to-2 ratio. Like this is fucked up. It's like I never had the chance to learn myself. So like getting the best getting the best output is like the fun of the game. Like how do I design it to be the best? And then you break it down and then you continue to build it up. So that part was ruined. But I love that game. Great game.
Okay. Next question from Gazira. What game do you love but refuse to stream?
Oh, this is Tetris 99, not really a good game to stream because it just requires such intense focus and, but I love that game. Also, for me at least, sports games like Madden or FIFA, like I actually really love playing sports games, but I don't want to stream those. Like the big streamers that stream those games are like, they're basically like spending all their time opening fucking packs and shit like that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So yeah, basically. But I love playing those games. I don't want to stream those games.
Yeah.
I can count on one hand how many times I've streamed me playing some sports. Sometimes late at night I just don't give a fuck. I'm like, I'm gonna play a game of Madden. Fuck you guys. I played like the single player. Like they Madden put out a new like story mode these last couple of years, and so I'll play a little bit of that on stream because there's actually some story. Like I named my character, my quarterback, Jimbles McFucking stuff.
I enjoyed watching you play Madden single player, by the way.
Yeah, I mean, but other than that, like those are the type of games I love. I love just playing Madden and sports, but those are games that I don't want to stream generally. So yeah, that's my answer.
I don't think I refuse to play any games on stream. Like the word refuse is very strong. Like I don't think I've refused any game to play. But like certain games, like I get nervous about, like Civ, for example. Like I love Civ, but I don't. In my head, who wants to watch Civ? Like you play Civ, you don't really watch Civ.
Mm-hmm.
Who wants to watch permadeath Skyrim runs? You never fucking know.
That's true. That's true.
But like, yeah, those kind of games where it is like that strategy, city building, that kind of stuff. And then like, oddly enough, I really fuck with like NHL video games. Even though like I'm not a sportser at all per se. I like don't get it. I don't think I like have ever watched except for my job. I don't think I've sat and watched like a TV sports thing all the way through. But like for some reason I like playing some of the video games every once in a while. But I wouldn't ever stream that because that's just like I wouldn't know what to do with that.
Yeah, I think creative games for me sometimes, like this Motorsports Manager game specifically, there's sometimes that I really enjoy kind of the narratives that roll out like these management games over time, right? Like just like keeping track of where a certain player goes between teams, right? And like paying attention to like how much he's been paid. Like these narratives don't exist within the realm of the game, but it's like my imagination that creates those things. So like I really enjoy that specifically about like Motorsports Manager specifically, like that, and like a few other management games. I just like diving into those things, looking at stats, and then kind of telling me that story in the back end to create more value, like just from an entertainment standpoint. So like I try not to play those games too much on stream, like creative based games, but specifically speaking, because it is true, I like WoW Classic for me. I don't want to sit and have chat like bugging me the entire time that I'm playing and saying what's the best thing to do.
Oh yeah.
A lot of the time it's all about the interaction with everyone else, right? So it takes away from the interaction within the game if I'm interacting with chat. And I found that a little bit, and I didn't want that to be the case because I'm reliving my childhood like a weirdo. So that's like the one game. But I think that now that PvP's out and it's less of like me trying to make friends per se, I can go in that direction and maybe stream some PvP because I'm pretty decent at it. The one thing that maybe we can kind of all re-elaborate on, or if this is the case, I know that there's some games that I really enjoy playing, like CSGO. I love playing it, but I would never stream it because of how toxic it is, right? Like it's just incredibly toxic.
Yeah.
Like if you go into a CSGO lobby, yeah, probably should stream that. But if you go into like a CSGO casual lobby, right, and you do like warm-ups in there, there's gonna be some shit that you don't want on stream, right? Like there's sometimes that I try to avoid that or try to avoid those interactions. But I truly enjoy playing the game, right? So there's some games like that I avoid, and WoW can be that as well. Like some people are just toxic. Like if we're raiding, someone might drop, the R bomb or the F bomb, and just because like they're not
a lot of bombs,
yeah, a lot of bombs. Like just because they're not intelligent enough to have like an expanded vocabulary, I can't be like, hey, shut the fuck up, dude, because then it'll just start more shit. So
absolutely.
I try to stay away from those kind of games too. Just that
voice chat
toxicity. Yeah.
I really don't have any games that I refuse to stream. There's some games where I say like I don't want to stream it, and then I just end up streaming it. So I don't have a good answer for that one. Next question from Paul: what's the worst sale for Black Friday you've seen? I haven't seen any. I haven't paid attention.
I haven't seen like good sales, right? Like it's completely overhyped, right? Like I haven't seen a sale where, oh, that's a cool. I haven't seen one, so it's like the flip of that. Like I haven't seen a bad sale, just haven't seen any good sales at all.
Yep, I feel the same.
Same.
I'm looking at a Teeter hang up right now, and it's $60. So that's my answer.
So that's your.
Go for it.
So
do
it's
it.
It's like a thing that you sit in and you lay back, and it stretches you out by hanging you upside down.
Oh Jesus Christ! That's a bank station right there.
Yeah.
Next question from Rebel Ruby: what is your favorite Thanksgiving food?
Stuffing. Stuffing is
No,
probably-
Thanksgiving food.
That's you're just saying that's any day food.
Or are you was
You
that a
just like
sex
to
joke?
get stuffed.
Yeah, that's exact. I knew where that was going.
No, yeah, I'd say stuffing and turkey. You just can't the classics, man. I guess if there's something that because you could eat that outside of Thanksgiving, it's not as common, I guess. One thing I only really get around Thanksgiving though, I like pumpkin pie or like pumpkin cheesecake. That's really good. Yeah.
Pie in general is a good Thanksgiving thing. It feels wrong if you go without some pie at Thanksgiving.
I think mine is like freshly baked buns. Like there's something, maybe everyone has those, but like, like those hot, like pastry kind of like toaster strudel type of buns that that people make and they pass around like as the first serving. I love those. I don't get those the rest of the year. I've never had. Maybe my family just sucked. Maybe that's
no. It's because they take a lot of time to make, and they're also like those buttery, crustly buns. Like those things are like 600 calories for a little teeny thing this big, man.
Worth it.
Yeah, they are worth it, but they're
Stuffing, buns. Conbot, would you like to complete the misogynistic trifecta?
Wait, stuffing it? I said stuff.
Oh wait, shit, you're right. Yeah, god damn
turkey
it.
breast.
There you go.
I'm gonna make a statement. Cranberry sauce is better than gravy. I love poutine.
Wait, hold on. Can I call a timeout?
No.
Do you like cranberry sauce? No. Okay, I'm done.
Cranberry sauce is better than gravy.
But do you like the canned cranberry jelly? Have you ever had that?
Yes, I think it's all good.
Dude, that's the play.
See, I
They're
thought
both
that
good.
Cranberry
They're both
sauce
good.
and gravy. I don't do that.
you mix your fruits and your nuts, you freaking weirdo. Actually, I
just
say
saying,
that
I've seen it. If you have to choose, because right, like you don't want certain foods touching. You don't want the cranberry and the gravy touching.
exactly.
You got to pick one of those. So
I don't want the cream touching the nuts. That's the
Who's immature now, Bishop? So
You never want the cream to touch the nuts.
Weenie and I went to Boston Market for Thanksgiving this year, as we did last year. And we were sitting there waiting in line, and I look up at the menu and it says 10-ounce cranberry walnut relish. And I'm like, oh my God, is that cranberry sauce with walnuts in it? And sure enough, it fucking was. It was amazing. If you ever see cranberry walnut relish, you get that shit. And you put, I don't care if you have a fucking like a cookie, you put that shit on there.
Yeah.
It is so good. Oh my God.
I made a cranberry and jalapeno relish. And all that you do is you get 2 bags of like of dried cranberries, or not dried, but like the actual cranberries. And you blend it with 2 jalapenos all chopped up. And then you put sugar and you put lemon juice in it. And then you put that over top. So you take that relish and you put it over top of cream cheese and you dip crackers in it.
Yes.
And I'm telling you, it is like the most amazing thing
Dude,
that's ever.
yeah.
Very complicated.
I
For me.
was just about to say that sounds like a jalapeno jelly kind of deal.
Yeah. It's
Oh
so
my
good,
God,
though.
that sounds so good. Can I have that recipe, please?
Yeah. I'll get Casey to send it to you.
Oh my
She's
God.
got it down. We stole it from my sister and we're pretending it's ours. So Brittany, go fuck yourself. Happy birthday, by the way. Go fuck yourself.
Doxed. Next question, Gamers for Life. Speaking of niche products, I would consider Elgato a niche company, but I will say that they do everything right as a company, making items for streaming compared to TC Helicon, but that's my opinion. What do you think?
Everything right. I don't know about that.
Yeah, I would also argue that.
The wording is strong, I think, but I would agree that, like I said, like the whole idea of like, oh, this thing is marketed towards a streamer. I'm not buying it. I have bought an Elgato product, so like they're kind of okay, but I don't think they do everything right either. You know what I mean?
Here's my thought process: is the main differentiator is that Elgato is a company built by streamers that have built technology that they want, right? Versus a technology company that's building products that are catered towards a specific type of person. Right?
Now, like in 2018, they just started
like,
building.
I feel like Elgato's been around for a bit now, where it's like they were kind of like not the only ones, but like especially when like even like 2017 when I first started thinking about streaming, like the only thing I really saw was Elgato at that point. Yeah. Now it seems like there's a bunch of different stuff because they're trying to hop onto it. Yeah. So that's one of those things where they're marketed towards streamer, but they're okay. They're doing it okay.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. I think that they're making smart products, right? Like the Stream Deck, probably one of the greatest interfaces that you could buy for your computer. Like beyond the fact that it's a $200 device is insanely underpriced, right? Like it's such a good product for so many other means. It's almost sad that it's specifically catered towards streamers because it is such a great device. And I feel like an idiot because I barely use mine, right? Yeah.
Jimmy and I were actually just talking about this recently, how as time has gone on, we've started to use our Stream Decks less and less and less. There's a couple core things that I could not live without. Like Elgato's multi-action for the Stream Deck is one of the best things in streaming, period. But do I need to spend $200 on a bunch of other things that I don't really use it for? That's kind of the gamble.
My biggest gripe with Stream Deck is that I plug it into my streaming PC, and when 80% of the time that I'm sitting here, 90 maybe 99% of the time, I don't have that PC on, so I can't use it. Like I'm not.
Just buy another one, forehead.
Yeah, exactly.
But that's really the reasoning, right? It's like, I just need another one.
Yeah.
Jimmy, do you have any thoughts about Elgato before I go on a tangent?
No.
Okay.
I just buy shit and get shit on. No big deal.
Oh, come on. Go as far as one product.
Just like you said, I as far as I don't know. The way I view products is, does this product have what I need? If it does, I buy it. And if it fits the range, I mean, obviously, like the Go XLR was something I had my eye on for a really long time. I tried some other means to see if I could get it to fit and do what I needed to. I couldn't. Saved the money for it, got the product, got it. What a company is doing or not doing or their PR, honestly, I don't really give a fuck. I just, if it comes down to if it fits a need for what I want it to do, I buy it. I don't really care who the company is, what the company is. I just buy it.
You're better than me because I get all of it. Because that's like a huge, like it's that I'm too cool to buy the cool thing. Like I'm so fucked in the head like that where it's like
Jimmy's an all-American boy, man. That guy, that's a model for us all to follow. Get off Twitter, spend less time dealing with bullshit. Just buy what you need if it works for you. Don't fuck around with all the politics of it. Just get what you need if it's worth the value.
Well, I'm not saying that I have like the perfect. I mean, I see.
Jimmy hates body.
I see the politics. I see some of the stuff that's going around. I'm not oblivious to it. But the truth is, like, I don't know. I think sometimes people, they get so caught up in all the miscellaneous shit and instead of just getting to the meat and potatoes of what is it they need? Is it fit what they need? And if it does, then, and if it fits with your budget and everything else, then pull the trigger. You know, I mean, I think it really just comes down to that.
100%.
And that kind of skims on our conversation a couple podcasts ago about deciding whether or not to go with a company because the CEO of a multi-billion-dollar company is a piece of shit. But then you have the products of the company that help people, and you have all the employees that work for the company that are supporting their families that are doing so. So, you know, everybody kind of has their own compass on where they navigate that. I, for one, think Elgato, and I said I was going to go off on a tangent, but really it was kind of more like praise. I think Elgato is one of the best companies in the streaming world right now. Their support has always been stellar. They are a company that stand behind their products. And I really feel like out of all the companies, Elgato is a company made up of content creators and streamers. And they are genuinely trying to make the best products for people like us. I know I kind of had my differences with the Elgato Keylight and how much it was, but when you actually take the core functionality of the Keylight and what it offers for the price, it's actually not. It's a pretty competitively priced device. Same thing with the multi-mount. I thought the multi-mount was a little bit pricey, but when you consider the market that they jumped into, they're doing a really, really good job. So I, for one, I can say negative things about Elgato, but they're all very nitpicky. And as a whole, I think Elgato is a really great company. And I, for one, really appreciate them being involved in our ecosystem.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Final question comes from Rebel Ruby. What is your favorite holiday or seasonal tradition? Example, watching a particular movie or eating a certain food.
I'm ruined. She doxed mine, so I'm out. We've been watching every year, just Lord of the Rings. So that's something that's just fun, just rewatching stuff like that.
Mine is that so I'm not a big fan of the whole holiday tradition. I'll be honest, I'm kind of a season. I like my family's big into like decorating the Christmas tree, and I hate that shit. I hate it so much. I hate listening. Like, I'm not a big fan of Christmas music. I don't like sitting there and put the thing on the thing. I hate like that is like I'll walk out and see that happening and be like, oh, fuck, nope.
Yeah.
See,
I guess my tradition for the holidays is not having one and just like having fun around that time, like organically, because I hate it when it's like this forced, oh, we're all together as a family, we have to have fun now.
We have to do the tradition.
Yeah, we have to go do this thing. It's like, that's annoying. Let's just like ride it out, see what happens. If we do a fun thing, we do a fun thing. If not, we're together, so what does it matter anyways? Like I'm not a big fan of like holiday traditions in that sense, but I'm also a Scrooge because I don't know, I have a black heart. No, I don't know. Yeah, but I just like organic fun during the holidays. That's the best thing. Like when not the newest episode 7 of Star Wars came out, that was like something that was like that all of a sudden was like, oh yeah, let's all as a family go and watch this new Star Wars. So it was like a really cool thing where it like organically happened. It wasn't this tradition or anything. Yeah. But then we had like a great time, and that was like that's a memory that I think of now. So that's my weird answer.
Yeah, you're weird, man.
Sorry.
Not sorry. Say I'm kind of a little half in, half out with what Combat said. I agree in the fact that I hate that shit when there's family around and it's like, oh, we're family together. We gotta go have some fun. We gotta do some shit. I think it's way better just to enjoy your time together. You just let things happen organically. But there are a few like traditions of things we do. Like, if my sister's in town, we'll usually we'll decorate pizzas. Like one year, like I made a Pac-Man like out of pepperoni and had like little olives were like the pellets that he was eating,
Oh, no way.
But like it was like the greasiest pizza ever because there was like 100 pepperonis on it, But like we do every time we come around, like we do a little decorating contest, like that's like a tradition we have. Or my brother-in-law will stay up to like super late playing video games usually if he's around on Christmas Eve, and we'll usually watch A Christmas Story together at least once, as a family. And I'm the one that always puts the tree up, and I don't mind putting up the tree. My son will come hang a couple, and he'll get bored and he'll go off. I'm not gonna say no. You got to come down here and do this. No,
man.
No, if he wants to do it, he wants to do it. I mean, I don't. It's zen like for me. I'll just have like a football game in the background, have a beer open. I'll put the fucking tree up, and everyone's happy. So, I mean, traditions are what you make of it, man. I mean, there's no point. It's good to have traditions, but if you're not having fun, then Then don't do it.
Son, you either help me with this Christmas tree or you don't leave until you win a Tetris 99.
That's right.
Me growing up a Jehovah's Witness, we don't have holiday traditions or seasonal traditions. We had our present day, which occurred in the summer, exactly 6 months opposite of Christmas.
Christmas in July.
Yeah. Weenie and I currently have our Boston Market for Thanksgiving tradition that we've only done 2 years in a row right now. I always remember my last relationship, their tradition was getting together at like 11 a.m., eating, and then everybody going in the living room and just watching whatever Christmas movie was on cable. And I was so miserable. Just like we're all just sitting there, full politics, of course, comes up because you got all the people, all the family members together. And I just remember like, this can't be Christmas. Like this can't be what it's all about. But that's just their tradition and it's not mine. So it was an adopted tradition.
I don't know, the forced any family time stuff is just never a good time.
No.
I feel like because the word forced is in there, right?
Right.
Like it's like
As long as we can just pick something to do together, dope.
Yeah, like go watch a movie randomly without like thinking about it. Like that stuff's fun,
right?
Not
so Casey and I have
a goddamn tree.
Yeah, like there's like fun stuff. I think a lot of the fun stuff revolves around food. Like Thanksgiving is such a weird thing because we all just get together and have food that we have like one time a year, right? Like we don't really have turkey and cranberry and stuffing. Like it's rare for a lot of people to like some of us cheat and we're like, okay, fuck it, it's July, I'm gonna have
turkey in July.
Yeah, turkey in July. So I think a lot of like the cool things, because not a lot of families have, like between you and your brothers, like if you haven't seen them for a few years, they might have a complete different opinion of like politically or whatever, or their interest levels are completely different, right? So going and sitting and spending time, like for me, I spend time with my family and like we have nothing that we share in common, right? Like I don't have anything that I want to talk to them about, right? But I think that's what food also allows people to do, is like break bread around, just an excuse for everyone to get together. Everyone wants to enjoy the food. I mean, nowadays things are a little different with everyone's different specific diets and shit. But yeah, like Casey and I, like one stupid thing that we do for Thanksgiving, and it's just like something I was like, oh, hey, let's turn this into a thing. And it came from my mom. Every Thanksgiving morning, she would make quiches for breakfast. She would just go and make quiches, and she would never do this ever before that. Basically, just an egg pie at the end of the day.
A quickie.
So I was like, hey, yeah, like a little quickie. So I was like, hey, we're gonna do orange juice and quiches on Thanksgiving, and then we did that again this year. And it's like, hey, that's fun because it's something to wake up and look forward to. You know, kind of like in Christmas morning, you wake up and you look forward to open presents. So
give it 5 years. You're going to fucking hate it.
I have a non-Grinch one, actually. Christmas Eve, we always get to open up one present. And so we open up one present on Christmas Eve and then the rest during Christmas.
A present or a present?
I mumbled, okay? I'm sorry. Wait, I thought nobody was going to notice, but you all noticed.
You pronounced it differently twice.
I used to be so jealous
because I'm bad at talking.
I used to be so jealous of families that got to open their presents. So I created like a pseudo hatred for people that would open before. I used to consider them soft. I was like, Christmas Eve, you can't wait one day, you fucking pussy. You waited 364 fucking days, but you didn't wait the one last one. Because my family would never let us open it. Where they're like, get over it. Like, wait one more day. Right?
Wait one more day.
Yeah, pussies.
Pussies.
It was my non-Grinch thing, and I got shit on for it.
It's okay. We still love you, Conbot.
I messed up saying the word present, and then
present. Now we're just fucking gunning you.
Presents and presments.
Okay.
Thanks for giving us 2 hours of your time, motherfucker.
Oh man. All right, guys. That is the end of the Q&A, and that is also the end of our December 1st podcast. Thank you guys so much for coming through and hanging out with all of us and putting up with our dumbasses. It was super cool to hang out with all of you guys here and to hang out with chat. So what we're going to do one more time, we're going to go around the room, reintroduce you guys to everybody that is here. And then we'll close out the show and have a jolly old fucking time. So Mr. Bishop GP, where can we find you online?
BishopGP, aka Elliot Bishop here. For anyone that lives in Victoria, BC, I'm sorry that I shit on you. You can find me and you can yell at me on Twitter at Bishop was here. You can find me on Twitch at BishopGP. And then, that's like the two best places. If you play World of Warcraft Classic, Keemstar on Spolderweb, I'm a mage. I'll make you some water and then you can bitch at me.
Yo, my name is Jimmy, also known as MiddleAgedStream. You can find me on Twitch and Instagram at MiddleAgedStream, MiddleAgedStream on Twitter. I'm only streaming once this week. That is Wednesday, because I'll be out of town this weekend. So maybe perhaps finish up Star Wars on Wednesday. I think I'm pretty close to the end, so I may just go ahead and knock that out if I can. So yeah.
I'm Conbot789. You can find me pretty much everywhere as Conbot789. The most social media I'm on is Twitter for sure. So if you want to like meme around on Twitter, that's where I'm at. I don't really fuck with Instagram all that much. I just post my pink pictures.
Deep fried.
We don't
Beep,
fuck with you on Instagram.
I stream most weeknights at like 9. So if you want to come hang. Otherwise, yeah. Throw up some peace signs.
Gang, dude. Gang.
My name is Knackers. You guys can find me on this very channel or on Twitter and Instagram at Knackers with 3 A's. I'm either restarting up Dark Souls or Breath of the Wild next week. I haven't decided yet, so we'll see what happens. Thank you guys so much for coming through to this podcast, the Crocs and Hot Pockets 113. We will be back next Sunday with a 1v1 with Jomo Senpai, an episode that I am super excited about. So thank you guys so much for hanging out for the podcast. We will see you next time. Goodbye.
Goodbye.
Motherfuckers.
Later, bitch.
Gang signs.
Later, bitches.